well, we are now live on Sportswire Radio. And boy, it has been an interesting past, 20 hours or so, but we're actually going to start off in a different way. And I know everybody's kind of wondering, well, where do we go from here? But I promise you, we're actually going to talk about a lot of things that are truly about all wrestling matters, maybe all music matters. Because my guest here is one of my buddies. This man right here. Not only, I don't know why he's wearing my shirt, but I am certainly much more proud to wear his shirt here. But this guy, you see him everywhere. He is the owner of Amplified Wrestling and Enterprise Wrestling. He's got a big show coming up here on June the 29th. We're going to talk about that here to start the conversation. We're going to talk about some things in DBW. No, not what you think. Well, maybe not. But we're going to actually talk about what he's doing in DBW, because I think Chaos Conspiracy he might have in his sights. We're also going to talk about what's going on with Lydia Myers. And by the way, Lydia Myers, I think I owe an appearance on Sportswire Radio too, but I'm going to give his side of the story first. Plus, we're going to talk about he owns his own ring. And we're also going to talk about maybe some Metal Talk Mondays and maybe some different things he said about 20 things metal fans shouldn't do. And maybe I agreed with some of them, maybe things I disagreed with, and maybe everything else in between. And plus, he's going to talk about the word olive branches, and maybe I should put olive oil on that olive branch, or who knows what. But I can assure you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our guest here is really become one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, he's so much one of my favorites that in between I'm watching your favorite and other people's favorites, backyard and underground wrestling shows to get ready to bring you back onto Sportswire Radio, I always find ways to check out his vlog and what he's doing, what else is he saying. He's a big creator on digital content for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and in between. I don't know how he does it all. He might be the most interesting man that comes onto Sportswire Radio. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give our guest that Hall of Fame-like introduction so he doesn't sick Kid Mike and Dennis G on me. But before I do that, I obviously want to say it's good to be back on prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, with a man that certainly knows it. And even I'm going to talk about some music he's actually creating, because he's got an album coming out, and I'm going to talk about that. And I mean, like I said, maybe this guy can cure cancer. Maybe he can bring everybody together in the world of wrestling. I'll leave that out. I promise you I'll leave that out. But ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to give our guest that introduction that he's been waiting for, the world has been waiting for. And let's see how my voice is, because literally I'm on no sleep. But I'll certainly say is from where I'm from, no sleep till Brooklyn. But maybe he won't cover that. But after all, Kerry King did play the guitar solo on that. But I'll leave that out. It is time to give our guest that introduction and to start the weekend off here in style on Sportswire Radio. So with that, further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one, Global Sports Show. He's simply put, V to the H. He's one half of the Murder City Hit Squad. He's the host of the Metal Talk Mondays. He's even got a new album out. His name is simply put, Hanson. My friend, how are you? And I think some people might actually want me to look like that, because some people probably want me to just keep a lid on it. And maybe my mother was this morning after we lost power here all throughout most of the day in New York City in my home. But I'm very honored to see you. And I think most people probably just want to keep that picture up and just not see me periodically ever on Sportswire again. So thank you for the picture.
Thank you. I've had that picture since before the first time we did the interview, but you were so nice to me.
I was like, I want to say about 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago. Remember, you spoke to me on a Sunday morning. I was like, I was delivering newspapers, and I see a message, and you were like, "Oh, I've watched you before on Sportswire." I'm like, "I know you are." I always say all the time, but you don't have to, go like, we had a great conversation. I was like looking at our interest, and alas, we're here again for the third time.
Yeah, I made that picture right before I came on the first time, and I was gonna pull it up, but you were like,
Did it. You should have did it. I wouldn't have cared.
you were too nice, and you donated,
I
so
don't think
I
I'm that
couldn't do
nice
it. I
these days.
couldn't bring
I
myself to
think
do it.
sometimes it's funny. Some people say, "Well, boy, you're really morphing into Vince McMahon after I'm owning now all these, companies and YouTube pages." But yeah, put it up because you know what? I think most people would actually want to see that photo instead of me. Most of the shows. But I'll actually tell you a funny story. I'm pretty sure that photo I took was right after I saw John Wick 4.
Okay.
So I think you probably would have appreciated the little nugget there that you actually got that photo right after it was John Wick 4. I saw that. So yeah, that was and olive branches. Yes, you extended an olive branch to me, and I willingly accept because after all, I need to put some olive oil to get on that olive branch. But thank you very much for that. And you share much of my humor. That's why it's always good to be here with you. And maybe you should take over the microphone from me because after all, you got more followers on
No.
YouTube and you're on TikTok. I'm not. And, maybe that would maybe bring more people out. I don't know. But good to be with you. Long time no speak.
Yeah, it
How
seems like it's been
How
a
you
while.
feeling out there? How's the world feeling out there after the last couple of weeks? The last couple of weeks on sports, well, I feel like I don't know. Some people like it, some people don't. But I tell you what, we got the world talking. And in the last few weeks before we got you, Mr. V to the H, you're obviously our digital content creator. You're a wrestling owner. You've done everything. You're the most interesting man that we have on Sportswire Radio. But I've had on Ledger Shade, the one and only Ledger Shade, come on here and give me maybe the greatest endorsement I could ever have seeked. Jack Delta with a new hairstyle was here. We had James Taylor, who's back in wrestling. Austin G, who certainly to me was far less interesting than Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're way more interesting than Austin G. And I mean, it's been Aaron Blaze was here, the headline, the main event. Aaron Blaze was here. I mean, we can keep going and going and going. Gabe Sayers, who just wrestled Grimm of all people. I got him actually the day after he wrestled Grimm in GTS. Kato, hardcore legend. I mean, it can go, the list goes on and on and on of great people. But now we start and we follow things up and we bring it to you, Mr. V to the H. And I know a lot of people are tuned in and they're going to get, I'm sure, some different things, but let's start off nice and easy. Or as maybe to quote David Coverdale in Whitesnake, we'll start a little bit slow and easy out there. Certainly maybe not as bluesy as, Whitesnake. I don't know how big of a Whitesnake fan you are. I don't necessarily think they are a metal band. They're a great band. I mean, they've had some of the best guitarists. John Sykes, maybe one of the most underrated guitar players out there, kind of got lost a little bit in the shuffle. Vivian Campbell was a guitar player for Whitesnake, but I don't think people want to hear me talk about Whitesnake. Neither do you, but for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire, let's start again, slow and easy. June 29th, Enterprise Amplified are back, and it's going to be for a free show. And let's talk about it while I get that poster ready so everybody can see where they can go. And let's talk about it.
For sure. So we were reached out to by Vinny, the guy who owns the pizza shop that we used to run behind, and he was putting on this event called Vinny Fest. And I was like, well, you know what would go good with Vinny Fest would be Vinny Mania. So he pitched the idea of us bringing the ring down, doing a few matches. And we've actually got it to now where it's going to be separated into 2 shows in one day. So I believe the first show, we're going to do something more with Power Hour Wrestling, which is our new developmental territory.
I loved Power Hour. The Power Hour shows were like so awesome. I love those little bam, bam, bam. We talked about this the last time. Those nice little shows and,
Power Hour will be coming back. We looked through the footage. There's still a lot of footage that we have not shown yet from Power Hour. And one of the big things was, this could definitely be a developmental territory for bringing in new guys, trainees, faces that we've seen other places but never seen in Enterprise and Amplified that could be Power Hour exclusive. And Johnny Walker is now the commissioner of that. So that's kind of exciting to get him back into the swing of things, not in a wrestling role, but like the man's been doing this for over 30 years. And to see that level of experience utilized in a training setting is pretty awesome.
What does that bring to the show and to the guys that are going to be there to have somebody with that much experience? What does that bring for everybody who's going to be on the card and such?
I will say it will bring more respect because Johnny really, really, really teaches respect in wrestling. And a lot of schools don't really seem to harp on that as much, but it'll also bring bigger opportunities with the contacts that he has from here to Tennessee. It'll bring a lot of guys in who want to make a name for themselves. And that's my favorite part of wrestling nowadays is seeing the up and coming talent and seeing just how much, like, if you really think about it, there's so much unused talent on the independent wrestling scene.
Absolutely. I was having a conversation with somebody about this off the air. Actually, one of my buddies who's here, the Tribal Cheese, who's a
Mhm.
UK sensation right now. He's all over the place. And we were talking about like independent wrestling in a lot of ways. To me, it's so untapped
Mhm.
because you have just all these people out there, but you don't use them in ways or use the avenues that you have that you don't really kind of showcase what they
Yeah.
can bring to the table.
And I think that will also like help because we were working on a rotating roster before bringing in new guys with each show. Because the whole reason I started Amplified was I was at a point in my career where I said I'm not going to go anywhere, but I want to see other people go somewhere. And I had a lot of friends who were not being used properly, who weren't being used at all, who were training for like one guy was training for 3 years and never been on a show.
I had a buddy of mine, Chris Urban, who was trained by the Amazing Red at the House of Glory, which is here in New York City and Queens. And
Mhm.
do you know that he trained for 5 years before he actually wrestled his first match? Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you see it, there are these stories all too often. He wrestles his first match I watched his second match. In his second match, he got injured. He did a spot off the top rope, but he's a big, heavy guy, and he kind of landed not too well. And I don't think he's wrestled since, and that was a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. So you just never
Man.
know.
But yeah, I just will say like there was a lot of people I had met who had talent and they had and they were hungry and they wanted to prove themselves. And I was like, what if I could start a promotion with like all these guys? And what's crazy now? A lot of them, like when we started, like Chris Winters, I mean, sure, he
Yep.
had been doing mosh pit other places, but he had pitched the idea of Chris Winters to every promotion and they said, no, that's dumb. He came to me, he said, hey, you're doing this thing. Can I do Chris Winters here? And he pitched the character and I went, yeah, let's do it. And now I kid you not, there were promoters at the last show that we did who came up to him afterwards and said, hey, can you do Chris Winters on my show? And he was like, no. Like it's funny because like a lot of the people that we used throughout the years are now getting bookings and offers other places, and now they can't keep up with us, which is fine. That was the goal. But like
Yeah,
Boom
it's funny
Harden
because
for
independent wrestling, sometimes it's like you go to school and like you have to graduate, and
Mhm,
sometimes that's like that where guys you see, and maybe you had them, maybe you help them get a start, but because they get that exposure,
mhm.
it's kind of like class. They have to graduate or move up to the next level, and you sometimes you don't get a chance to get them where I'm sure as a promoter you'd like to have them as much as possible to
Yeah,
keep the exposure going.
yeah. I remember our first. I did a test run during COVID called Lights Camera Amplified, and that was just a test run to see if I could put the show together. And
Sure.
Boom Harden was there, and he had not wrestled more than 2 shows at that point, I think. And he was like, "I'm here to help any way I can." And we had him on the next few shows, and then it was everyone went, "We want Boom," and then it was like, "Okay, well, have fun. No animosity. Have fun. You come back and work with us when you can." And he was very grateful, and a few other guys have been like that too. I like to think that we gave some people the nudge that they needed to get out and do big things.
Yeah, it happens that way. During COVID, I interviewed a guy. I had a friend I'm friends with different like rap. Believe I know I look what I look like, but I'm friends with a lot of guys who are rappers and people in the R&B world. And I was introduced to a guy, Ishmael Vaughn, who I interviewed during COVID, and he was literally he just came out of from Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes was with AEW, and I got him in
Mhm.
and I interviewed him, and I had some contacts. I got him a couple of other interviews with some different shows on my platform. And like now he's like, he's like one of the like most well-booked independent wrestlers. And I couldn't even get him on Sportswire. When I had him then, he was like just this humble guy, just out of college. He
Mhm.
had a job. He was working like an auto parts store. And it was like, but like it happens. That's how it goes. Sometimes you just
Mhm.
get people and, you do what you can and, we'll see what happens. So goals here coming up with this show. We're restarting free show, Rocky's Pizza. Can't go wrong with pizza. To me, wrestling pizza, nothing wrong with that. And, will we then see hopefully more, regular Enterprise and Amplified? So like I said, Power Hour. I'm looking forward to that, hopefully. And, what do you see then going forward here after this?
Right now, the main goal seems to be Power Hour,
Good.
and we're going to try to flesh that out as much as we can. Of course, we're still going to try to run shows as Enterprise and Amplified, and but I think the main thing right now is working with the Brotherhood of Murder City School, and getting that established first, because it's been like a rocky climb to get back. No pun intended with Rocky's pizza. It's been like a rocky climb to get to where we are with shows, because there was a while where we were running shows every month, and then it was every few months, then it was like once or twice a year. So right now I don't want to say anything for sure, but I definitely think within the training space, the property that we're using, we definitely.
Well, I'm going to get to that next. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously somebody's reading my bullet points here. I'm actually going to show the ring and talk about that. It's so difficult though as a promoter, even when you do, independent wrestling, because obviously we're very good friends with our friends overseas in CCW, and James Barris, one of my biggest champions, and we have a tribute show in 2 weeks from now, actually, for a young little girl who unfortunately lost her life, and we've done some support for her in the community over there. And I talk to him all the time. He asks me things, and it's hard. When you're a promoter, you're dealing with a lot of different things that sometimes are outside of your control and interest. So it's tough, but it's good to see that you guys are back. We're very excited about that. I want people to obviously follow Enterprise and Amplified, especially on Facebook. We've got some links here, and this is a great segue, because I'm actually about to put this up on the screen here about what you kind of talked about here in the almost formations of what we're going to see. So let me put that up here very quickly for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio. We're going to see you pop up here right now. I don't know why it didn't pull up. Now it's going to pull up right now, because I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Plus, we're going to be joined here in progress by 2 other YouTube channels shortly. But let's talk about what do we see here? And were you really standing in the ring when you did this video?
Yes. Yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay. Talk about what we're seeing here. What's this like? I think it's, I've actually had a conversation, I'm sure hello to Brandon Costelli. I think Brandon and I spoke about this. I want to say like a month or 2 ago. I think one of the most enjoyable things would be is to put a ring together. I just think that's like, just talk about what we're seeing here for the audience.
I agree. Getting that ring was really, like, I really can't describe the feeling, because I trained in that ring. I trained in that ring many years ago, and fun fact,
and
also
talk about, I think, who was actually wrestled in that ring, right? We had some really
we've had
news.
Yeah, we've had Sabu in that ring. Mick Foley actually signed the old canvas to it, because it belonged to the House of Pain Wrestling Federation for a while, and then belonged to Superstar Wrestling. Yeah, there's that guy.
I heard of him. By the way, the greatest backyard wrestler of all time is Mick Foley. I mean, basically, spoiler, he's the greatest one. I mean, he's the one that was the first. He's really the true godfather, is Mick Foley. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and just having that ring, like I said, I trained in it. A lot of guys, Mr. Judgment trained in it back 20 years ago. SSW had a hold of it, and they really didn't want to get rid of the ring, but it was a circumstance where they had to. And we were the first, I think, they reached out to, and it was like, yeah, sold. That ring, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Kid Mike, to Johnny Walker, to Bala, to Mad Dog Dan Moore. It means a lot to all of us. Like, as I think, like, the majority of our careers were spent in that exact ring.
So it has a sentimental value to you, right?
Yeah, and to own it has always been, kind of the dream. There was a different ring I was trained in around the time, because they had 2 different rings, and that one fell apart. So we didn't really want that one. But as you can see, we were not really prepared whenever they got there to pick it up. The padding was ruined. We had to go out and get some makeshift. Right now, it's got the right padding. Safety was a number one thing, that we definitely stressed on. It was like, this ring needs new wood. It needs new padding. It's an investment,
Hey, everybody has to start somewhere, in every business invests in things. And I mean, it must mean a lot though, to like have a ring like this. And, to be able to bring people again, what did I talk about? All that, we'll get to that, but all wrestling matters and bringing people together. And you've
Mhm.
actually done that. You've personally, along with Kid Mike, obviously love Kid Mike. Shout out to him. I know he's here, but like you guys took the bull by the horns to figuratively and literally do that. And I think that that's the spirit of you're giving people that may or may not have had that opportunity now to go out there and learn when it's difficult to
Mhm.
go out and do that. So I think that that speaks volumes to the character that you and certainly Mike has and everybody else that would be a part of that.
One thing I will say for sure is like you said, taking the bull by the horns. I always believe in like taking opportunities. That has been something that I've really just like delved on since I was probably a teenager. Was like, what's the worst that's going to happen when you just take an opportunity? A lot of people go, oh well, I might do this or
Opportunity
might,
knocks. Sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
Like no, like you take that by the balls and you run with it.
That's it.
Like,
Listen, run. Don't run to the hills like Iron Maiden. You obviously take the bull by the horn, and bulls on parade, to quote Rage Against the Machine. I try to come up with stuff because obviously I did try out for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire once upon a time, but just we see this again. It's only just the short things, but I mean, like I'm assuming you'll see a lot more with this. And again, you can follow Enterprise and Amplified. They're on YouTube as well, and Mr. V to the H. But we'll take this off the screen shortly, and then take this off because I obviously have technology in front of me, and we're going to go and be streamed on a couple other places shortly. But I mean, just having that, I'm sure. Yeah, I think most people would rather see that photo than what they're seeing. Look, and trust me, ask my mother probably if she's out here watching. She's probably not. She's probably mad at me still. But the point is that a lot of people are mad at me still. What can I tell you? But that's okay. God is good. But at the end of the day, I'm sure people want to see that photo more. But yes, thank you for extending the olive branch. But the point is that having that, I'm sure, will allow you, for whatever you decide to do in the future, to continue to give people opportunities. Olive branch, that's the example of an olive branch. Thank you for the cue there, Mr. Johnny Carson. Yes. I think you were. I know hard to punch there, but no. What my point was that you're obviously, at the end of the day, having this ring will allow people to go out there, and whatever you decide to do in the future, not only will it help you get reps, but it'll help maybe those that you might want to be in the ring with, basically.
And yeah, we've pretty much extended it as an open training at any amount of experience. Doesn't matter.
I think actually, I'm gonna make you laugh. Kid Mike actually on the DM me on Facebook as a joke. He's like, "Do you want to train to be a wrestler?" And I'm like, "I know he did." No, shout out to he actually offered. He's like, "Do you want to train to be a wrestler?" I mean, I was like, "Well, I don't think people might want to see me in the ring now. They might want to Andy Kaufman me, but But the point is that I get asked a lot, but I don't know if it's for me. But I think for anybody else that really wants to be in the ring, and I will say this just to slowly piggyback. We'll come back to it, but there are people that have been on this platform, not certainly the Ledger Shades, not certainly the Jack Deltas, not certainly the Gabe Sayers of the world, but the different names out there, Austin G's even, but those that are been in here and saying that they are this and that, I would recommend going to people like Van, going like to Kid Mike or anybody else out there that can help you. And if it's in reasonable distance, I think this is kind of taking the bulls by the horn here, more or less, and helping out people and helping out yourself as well, ultimately.
I will say, like watching Sportswire last night, with some of the people who weren't trained, and
yes, the big bad silver wolf, the big bad.
I will say, like honestly, if the way the veterans were talking to him, I will say like this directly.
Absolutely, go for it. Say whatever you want.
If they didn't care, they probably wouldn't give you the time of day. I don't know them personally, but I know a lot of wrestling vets will not give anybody like that the time of day. I would just.
And we've given him multiple chances on it. This is the third time he came on here, and the guys that come on it regularly, the landlord of Sportswire Radio, the bailiff, some say, Mac 10, the deathmatch werewolf, who's wrestled Jimmy Controversy a bunch of times, Kato, and Anthony Steele. Everybody knows Anthony Steele at this point. The likes of Shane Davidson, my buddy, Alan Michaels, the trendsetter, of course, the man just defeated Jay Wild, the TBW world champion, who was also here on Sportswire. A whole list of other people that are here regularly, those different people that are here. And they come here and they're here every time on Sportswire. Not even a question. They want to be here. And they've given him opportunities. And I felt like last night with him, at least, this is the final chance. This is the last straw because he's been coming on here and, it was a thing he did with a poster with, Pro Wrestling Venom, Jimmy Controversy. He's a personal friend and messaged me. He was like, who the hell is this Silver Wolf guy? I had to explain to him, like, yes, sir. I'm telling him these things. And, it's a blight on the community. So we're trying to, these guys through them are trying to give him that one more chance. And it seems like he'll get it. But again, I was always told actions speak louder than words.
Yeah. And I would just say, take all that advice, take all that negativity that you drew to yourself as motivation to fuel you through your journey through wrestling, and give us that comeback story that prove us all wrong.
Yeah, listen, I like him personally. I have known I've actually known him for over a year. So I know him when he was actually originally, they were trying to train him in Wisconsin in WC. Guys like Sean Jovi, Craven Rage, Nicholas Crenton, who was here. Nicholas was on the chat also. Nicholas is trained. And they were trying to teach him, and he is it's like a horse trying to get the horse to drink, and he can't drink. So I feel like if he doesn't get it after last night, I don't know what more else, but I think guys are trying because they do like him personally. He's not a bad guy. He's, but his case is different than the loose cannon one. I don't even want to mention that individual's name. He did some things. I'm sure that those who watch that would have very little sympathy for him, but we've had Silver Wolf on here a bunch of times. And I really hope that was the moment that he says, okay, whatever those guys say, I do it.
I will say also, like, I have heard of Sean Jovi, and I've wondered, what if we could do like a Sean Jovi versus Van Hansen?
I would love to see that. Sean Jovi, you got the it's like Dave Mustaine versus John Bon Jovi. You got the Dave Mustaine vibe.
Well, I was going to say more like Eddie Van Halen versus John Bon Jovi, but
you could say that. I mean, you got the album out. Well, you do have an album coming out. I will put the album up on the screen. But yeah, I'm sure Sean Jovi would love to hear that. I'm sure that's the resident rock star. He's coming here next week, by the way. He's here next week. I can ask him about that. Well, he's Jovi though.
See, like, that's a match that just wrote itself. Like, I saw his name was Sean Jovi, and I'm like, Sean Jovi, Van Hansen. That's a match that wrote itself.
You know what? I got Sean Jovi. Yeah, that would have been a great tour. Actually, real quick story. Van Halen technically did tour with Bon Jovi. They toured with them in Europe, 1995, on the tour for These Days, and Van Halen was touring with Sammy Hagar, which obviously some people would say, that's not Van Halen, but technically there was a Van Halen Bon Jovi tour in Europe, and Van Halen was the opener. Who would have guessed?
I don't have a problem with Hagar and Van Halen, but whenever speaking about it, I just say Van Hagar. Like, so people don't get the. But I did love their song "Dreams" whenever he was the singer.
That Dream. Well, Dreams is a Power Rangers movie, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what heard the song from. That was how I heard it first. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely be more of a Van Halen with Hagar guy. But let me get to actually. Mr. Darkron heard that, and he said, well, what about in the state of Ohio coming up from July 5th to July 7th? There's a thing called Summer Bash. I'm sure you've heard a lot about that, and I don't know the location distance from you, but Mr. Jovi will be there. He and I are sponsoring a thing called the All Wrestling Matters World Underground Championship. Actually, he and I have gone in jointly with it, and he has been announcing some matches. We heard some of that yesterday, and you and Sean Jovi would be actually a really, really good match. Maybe in the great state of Bremen, Ohio, which I actually have the poster for in a little while. I'll put that up if Mr. Darkron would grant me those magic powers to say yes. But obviously, I think you and Sean Jovi would be a rock story. Maybe it could be the battle of like who's the biggest rock draw in backyard independent underground wrestling. Who's like the biggest rock draw on Sportswire? I mean, who's maybe sold more records or sold more wrestling matches? Like, I don't know how you go about it, but that would be actually an interesting thing there.
That'd be about a 6-hour drive for me. So, if you want to meet up halfway, Sean Jovi.
What's he's in Wisconsin. He's in Wisconsin. You're in Pennsylvania.
I thought he's at Summer Bash though, right?
He's at Summer Bash, yeah.
He'll be at Summer Bash? Okay.
He has to be. It's the championship All Wrestling Matters that he and I sponsored. I mean, I hope to be there. I don't know yet, but I would like to be there, but he is going to wrestle there. So yeah, maybe Mr. Jovi and Mr. Darkron said I could put the poster up, which I will in a second. But okay, that's an interesting one. I got a lot of comments here first before I put some. Let me get to the people here first. I want to say hello to our friends over in DBW.
Hey.
I have some DBW stuff I'm going to put up on the screen in a little while, so we're going to get to that. I want to talk about Lydia Myers first. I know we're going to certainly start. We're going to go. I know now people are like, okay, here we go. But hello there to our management in DBW. Please follow DBW. I actually have the DBW links up shortly. I think this person, we're going to move on. A man that you wrestled actually in a triple threat not too long ago at Apocalypse. And,
Beans.
You've got some beef with him, obviously, that goes back. He was actually my first guest of this year in 2024. He's my trivia question, Jackson Saber. And he likes waffles. He likes waffles, Kid Mike.
I don't have beef with Jackson Saber. I have beans with Jackson Saber.
Well, I'm going to certainly say beans, beef, it all may be the same, but I'm going to certainly move on and say Kid Mike likes waffles. Can you confirm that he likes waffles, mister?
He eats at Waffle House like every day, so yeah.
Do you know that in New York City, we do not have Waffle House? This has been a topic on Sportswire shows, and we do not have Waffle House here. So I do not know
You're not
Waffle House actually. I hear wrestlers love Waffle House. I hear they're running. I think this has been a topic on prior shows here on Sportswire. It's either Cracker Barrel or Waffle House. People just seem to be absolutely enamored with.
I'm Team Denny's.
Okay, Denny's. I don't think we have Denny's here in New York City.
I'm also Team Sheets. I'm Sheets for life.
Okay, well, you know what? That's something else I still don't know, but we are going to be joined now live in a couple of places. First of all, we're going to certainly say hello to some other listeners out there. We are now on the Pride Wrestling Federation YouTube channel, the extra YouTube channel we have, which is kind of your backstage stuff. I want to say hello because I own a portion of that company. It was famously owned by Atomic Titan, the Hardcore King. We are also on the Promo Wrestling Federation page on YouTube, which is now kind of like the developmental to Sportswire Radio. So for those that want to get some help in different things, character skills, network with more wrestlers. We're going to certainly have more coverage with that Tuesday night tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time with James Taylor, who's our chairman emeritus. I obviously own the company now. James did a great job with keeping the company alive. And James is also the owner of ROEW in Michigan, which is the home of Jack Delta. So hello to our friends out there. Let me also say hello to some other people. Mr. Darkron, my very, very dear buddy, Mr. Darkron, how you doing out there? And the Tribal Cheese, who's like a UK national sensation right now. He is everywhere. He has like 1 million views, 2 million views on TikTok and YouTube. And
I've definitely seen his stuff.
Yeah, he's really, I have to say, he is one of my closest friends in the world of wrestling. This man, he and I, he always says he and I are like peas in a pod, which is probably why some people like us, some people don't like us overseas. But I'm glad he's on my side because he's a really big man, and he says good evening to you. So he's very happy to you. And I don't know if there is any sucking up, but I do appreciate that we are wearing each other's shirts, and I hope that you get a Van Hansen shirt and go out there. I have a link for that in a little while. Yes.
He's the reason why I'm suspended at SSW. So I don't want to talk to him.
I was going to get to that next. I'm going to get to that next. Let me say hello to some comments. I want to say hello to Zilla22. I think Zilla's22 is on Instagram. Zilla follows me on Instagram. And hi, Zilla. Also, he does love the Megadeth banner, Dark Khan. Yeah, I do think Rust in Peace was probably my all-around. I think we've talked about this before. My all-around favorite Megadeth album. I mean, Countdown to Extinction probably sold the most, but I like Rust in Peace way better.
Every time we do this, I forget to bring in I have a signature series Dave Mustaine guitar, and every time we do this, I forget to bring it in here. So I have an Endgame based Flying V that was a Dave Mustaine model.
I did like Endgame.
It was. I loved Endgame. I thought it was a great return. But I was more Team 13. So
yeah, well, I'll tell you what I wasn't team. I was not Team Super Collider.
Super Collider. So like, I think we've talked about this before. I think first 3 songs are good, and then it just goes.
I think it was
the rest is just a pop album.
I think he was right up there with Risk. I think he wanted to make Risk 2, and I have no idea why. And I have been in that ring since I was 9 years old when my dad and brother started.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sentimental. Hello to Jackson Snow. Jackson Snow, one of my buddies. I love Jackson Snow. I think we spoke before. I think we spoke on Facebook before, and maybe we'll speak in person sometime. Those old party show videos. Yep.
I remember those whenever they had like the trampoline with the garden hose around the poles.
Did you ever watch when they had the WWF like documentary, and you ever watched their like home video? That's where it
Yeah.
came from. That stuff.
The high voltage, and WCW totally ripped them off.
Yeah,
That's a great story to watch.
Well, everybody's talking about WCW because Vice did the Who Killed WCW, but I hope I didn't. But I guess more behind the scenes. Also, Darkron would like to say where you guys are located: Fayetteville, Pennsylvania.
Fayetteville, PA. Yep.
So Fayetteville from Bremen, Ohio, is what, 6 hours? Is that what about that? Right, 6 hours.
That's about, yeah.
Okay. Actually, Darkron says thank you because of this. He says he'd like to train.
Okay. By all means, come on down.
I think I can connect you guys. I think you guys actually, I can connect you guys. I'll take care of that afterwards.
Okay.
Hello to D-Lock. How you doing, D-Lock? I want to say nice
D-Lock?
to see you. Target toilet water.
That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke.
Okay, good enough. I want to say hello to my buddy all the way out in the great country of Australia, Mr. Ace Reed. Ace is the host of the Wired Up podcast. He has interviewed the likes of my friends Aaron Blaze, Jack Delta. He's also interviewed the good guy CJ Black, and maybe he'll interview Van Hanson. He's got over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so another 1,000 person. Also, Darkron said his brother Matthew Forsaken might want to come because they're brothers. They've been actually doing it, and yeah, 13 was a good album. I thought Super Collider really went downhill, and that was a bad one. But the last two were pretty good. But okay, so we got some of that out of the way. Let's certainly get to some current events. I still have a lot to talk about with you, and let's talk about Superstar Wrestling for you. Unfortunately, yes.
Before I do that, I totally forgot, and
Yes.
my friend's going to be kind of mad.
Go for it.
I wanted to wish my friend Elliot a happy birthday, and I told him I would do it on the air, and I totally forgot until just now. So,
no, happy birthday, Elliot!
Happy birthday,
hope you have
Elliot.
a great day out there. I hope you're enjoying. I hope your day is the best possible. I hope that your birthday is the best one yet. The best is yet to come. I hope that the next year provides you all the happiness, peace, and prosperity. And I hope that your family and you can certainly enjoy and just do everything possible that your heart certainly hopes to do. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching us here. Thank you for being a friend of Van's. Anybody that's a friend of Van is a friend of mine's. And I hope you have a great day out there. God bless you. And happy birthday. And like I said, I always tell people the best is yet to come. Sometimes we go through bad days, sometimes we go through ups and downs, but I believe the best is yet to come. And hope you have a happy birthday, my friend.
He was the one in the Metal Talk Monday Metallica episode. He helped me review
that was
the
the one I think you and I spoke about, which I had my opinions on. I have a lot of opinions today. But happy birthday, Elliot. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I want to say hello to somebody else that always says hello to me, Mr. Jake Matthews. He is the best on the card. He's also a fellow Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer like you. And he really does look like that in real person. I've actually seen him here a bunch of times on Sportswire. And yeah, that's Jake. And he doesn't live too far from you either. He's in Worcester, Massachusetts. They just had the riot in the ring there. In fact, actually, I think you would know somebody he knows. The name Power Surge ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
It
rings a bell. I don't know him personally, but I thought you were going to say Big Trouble Ben Bishop. I was like, wait.
No, not quite, but he obviously Power Surge is from your up of the way, and D Savage as well. They're big stars in his company, so I thought you might know that. And also, the Forsaken thing was about the V, and he loves Dave. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's come back. So now I do want to talk about happy birthday, Elliot. Hope you have a great day, and hopefully the best is yet to come. But let's talk about now Lydia Myers, and a frequent topic here every time you're here. And we were supposed to have a show coming up this weekend, which we could have advertised on here on Sportswire Radio, but I can't advertise it because as the Masked Mullet kind of had a little bit of a lead in with Mr. Van Hanson, you're not going to be attending that show over at Superstar Wrestling. And you might want to talk about that for the audience, because I'm sure Miss Myers is out there, and I owe Miss Myers an appearance on the Sportswire Radio soon. And
no, you don't.
Well, a lot of people feel like I owe a lot of people a lot of things, but I'll leave that at that. But what would you like to say about what happened and why you won't be attending there on June the 15th?
Lydia Myers has been a thorn in my side since 2020. This is 4 years in the making. And once we were on the same side, and we are brother and sister no longer.
Yep.
And
we heard her side of the story 2 months ago. Yep.
The fact is, The blood of Zabalba flows like wine, and I know that, being in the ring with Lydia so many different times. And I had to do what I had to do. I could not let her keep getting the win with whatever that baby character crap is. And it came to a point where Kid Mike and I had to think smart, and we had to think rationally, and we had to do what Murder City does. Now, Mass Mullet is my former manager. I was in the militia. He managed me for a long time. I've known Mass Mullet for a long time, and he has more heel turns than the Big Show. But the fact still stands, Mass Mullet is sometimes he's on Richie Nightmare's side, and other times he's on Diamond X Cross's side, but he got appointed to assistant commissioner. And here's what I want to say about that. Sounds like a rewritten story. When I was assistant commissioner of EPPW in 2019, and I remember, Mass Mullet, you came up to me and said, what are you, the ass commish of EPPW? And now here you are, the ass commish of Superstar Wrestling. That being what it is, you and Diamond X Cross decide to suspend me. And look, this was days after the event had already happened. I was sitting at my computer. I was playing Minecraft. I was going through the Nether. And as I was searching through the Soul Sand Valley, I get a call from my manager saying, hey, you're being suspended from SSW. I'm like, what? Because I put thumbtacks in the promoter's chair again? And they're like, no, because you attacked Lydia Myers. And I'm like, okay. This is wrestling. It's not fair.
Did he feel that you crossed the line?
See, I think so, but I don't know where Mass Mullet draws the line, because he can pull a crowbar out in a steel cage match and hit the owner of the company in the face with it. But I can't attack a witch backstage, pull her bloody carcass out to the ring, and pin her 1, 2, 3. See, I speak the truth. I am the propagandist, and what I say is the truth. And it is time for the fans to realize that. Get the wool out of your eyes.
Well, obviously, you want something to be done, and you would obviously want it soon. I think the world would know what that would be, which would be a match with Miss Myers. Would that be sort of factual, maybe?
Yes, and the seeds have kind of already been planted here. I've tasted the blood of Zabalba, and at Summer Haze in August, I think this is what we're gearing for. I have a few more things I need to prove myself before I get that title shot, but I have been told the next time I lose, my career is over.
Wait. Time out for a second. You mean to tell me that the next time you lose, your career will be history? Finito?
Pretty much leading up to the match. That's the deal. Diamond X, the deal. That's the stipulation that Diamond X Cross threw on me. He said, if you couldn't beat...
You spoke about blood.
Yes.
But doesn't that sound like a deal with the devil?
It does, but what? That actually makes sense. But no, it's the way
the Judas Priest song. That's why I thought about it, actually.
Yeah, you had to ram it down.
By the way. Yeah.
But no, so Lydia wants to go and say and do all these things about me. Afraid to step in the ring with me, she needs to put on a mask and turn off the lights to hit her flatliner. I don't even remember what it's called. I don't really care. But it's what I don't get is they've been screwing me out of title shots, out of stories, out of everything for the past 4 years. I have given my life to this company for 7 years, and they've been screwing me for 4 of those years.
Lydia's side of the story was more or less a different side of things. And, she said that here, and obviously you're back with us on Sportswire. But at the end of the day, from all this talking and even the suspension for what it is, you're not going to be there on the 15th, but you pretty much told us you'll be back. But I was going to ask you, in this all eventually, the talking has to be put to an end, correct?
It does. I'm tired of speaking. I want to pretty much burn the witch at the stake. I'm tired of it. And like I said, the deal that Diamond X Cross made, he embarrassed me in front of all those people as I stood in the ring. He said, if you can't get the job done with Lydia, you're out of here and you're done. Your career's over. Here, at least. I will say this, though.
Go for it. Seeing
that my suspension is on June 15th, there's a lot of other shows that run June 15th. SSW is not the only one. So as I'm sitting there, frustrated, I got to call Dennis G. I'm like, Dennis G, what are you doing June 15th? Unfortunately, he's busy. He's got to go down to make a business transaction in Florida or something. I don't know. I really don't care.
That's funny
I don't.
because the second person today, I met somebody randomly that was going to Jacksonville, Florida. Just the irony of that. What a small world.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing down there. I don't know why he's going there. I don't really care. Dennis G and I are on the phone, and I'm like, Dennis G, what do you have for me June 15th? He says, what about SSW? I said, I can't go to SSW. I explained the story in a bit of a pickle. Dennis G then says 3 letters to me.
What were those?
DBW.
Oh, DBW. I think I know a lot about DBW, right? I've heard of DBW. Does the audience think I've heard of DBW? What is it? What does everybody think out there? But Mrs. Myers, I'll come back to DBW. But Miss Myers, though, you sure that if you were to get in the ring with her, that you'll definitely burn the witch at its stake and her stake, and it'll be
you will
finality for 4 years in the making. Is that what you're telling me?
You will see the propagandist in his final form when it comes time. And the witch will be burned, and she will perish. And, well, I got that set up. I know what I'm doing there, you know?
I hope so for your sake, because obviously we've been going around we've been talking about this. You've been here 3 times now. So in all 3 appearances, this has been a topic, and she's been here, and she will be back here. I can promise you, because I actually have spoken to Miss Myers, and she obviously would like to share some things on that. And we'll certainly, I'm sure, have that happen in the next few weeks. But, you know, I hope for your sake you get what you would hope for, I suppose.
And I will say, as much as I would like to burn the witch this weekend, I think I'd rather squash an ego.
Oh, well, that's certainly been the topic over the past 24 hours or so. And before I get to that, if you'd like to follow Mr. Van Hanson, and if you'd like to certainly get in touch with him about some bookings, maybe if you want to train in his ring, maybe buy some music upcoming, we'll get to that. He is on Instagram right there, and you can follow him also on TikTok. He's on YouTube, so make sure you support him and support those that are a part of All Wrestling Matters, and this man is all about that. But let me get to some comments here before anything else. And want to say hello to one of my buddies here, Mr. Ox McCoy. Ox McCoy is like a hardcore... Okay. Ox McCoy, you know, I gotta say, Ox McCoy, you know, if I have problems, I'm going to Ox, because Ox has become my new best friend. He's become such a best friend of mine that even guys like Omen Black and Soldier GP, everybody thinks, oh, Omen, it's his show. But Ox McCoy actually says, Tom, you know, it's good to see you. He gives me messages. You know, it's always good. You know, I love when you talk about the fact that I literally eat, sleep, drink, and bathe in blood. And I write my messages in blood like Pantera. I reign in blood like Slayer. And he wrestled the show on Saturday. And, you know, he basically took his opponent, Jordan Nets. And certainly he might literally be put in the nets, nothing but nets. And he probably had blood sprinkled full of nets with him, and did some things with light tubes and other things. And this man literally is the definition of blood. And I want to say, my friend, and everybody should be friends with Ox McCoy, Mr. Rain in Blood. Somewhere out there, when Tom Araya, for whatever reason, Slayer returns for those few shows this year, and he's screaming, Rain in Blood! Ox McCoy is going to come out and pop up and probably do a number. So good old Ox McCoy, my friend, and he was very happy about that. He was very, very happy about that. Also, I have a good one from my buddy, Mr. Jackson Snow. So you're being punished for saving the world from a witch? You want to elaborate on that? That's a good question. Talk about that.
Right, exactly. Why am I the one being punished? And Jackson Snow, I'm sure you're familiar with this. I mean, you got punished for trying to rid the world of an outlaw. So, I mean, and that are few
like. I saw what he did to Big Tex, by the way, as well. I saw what he did to him.
You know, the way I look at Big Tex is a good opponent, right? He's done different things in DBW, right?
A lot of different things, yep.
But the man's a threat. And it's in my opinion, Jackson Snow did what he could to neutralize that threat.
Is that where veteran teaching student?
Pretty much. Like Big Tex is legit larger than life. And if he
I have him on actually next Monday night. I know. I'm seeing him here live, 9:00 Monday night. I'm going to see him next Monday.
He keeps getting those wins. He's going to be unstoppable. And Jackson Snow.
Cyrus is going to find that out. A man you've certainly seen quite a bit of in DBW. Out.
Cyrus.
Not to be confused. Yep. Go ahead.
Cyrus is one of the biggest weasels I've ever stepped in the ring with, and I kind of got mad respect for that. Like, he is the definition
And
of a chicken shit
another one that
wrestler.
chapter 3, we'll see chapter 3 on Sportswire very soon with Mr. Cyrus. And I did appreciate the kind words. We were kind of lost in the shuffle because I think I did praise Cyrus tonight. I don't know, last night on the show, but that was kind of lost in the moment. But yeah, Cyrus and you seem to have maybe where veterans see eye to eye when it comes to different people, whether like it's Big Tex or anybody else, I suppose.
Instead of seeing eye to eye, I'd say one eye of his is looking that
Sleep
way.
with one eye. Well, I'm going to certainly leave the eye jokes alone, but
I won't.
oh, fair enough. But we'll obviously take this off the screen and we'll come back to that. Obviously, we'll see what happens between you and Miss Myers. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice where figuratively and literally all wrestling matters. And if you are on Sportswire Radio, hit that sub button for us. We're on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 65.7. And yes, please hit that sub button so you can see that picture, because after all, that's the picture that'll certainly sell $1 million, and hopefully that'll sell us more subscribers. And maybe if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm supposed to get a tattoo. So I'm 280 away. So everybody's out there, hit the sub button so you can see a tattoo.
That. Get a tattoo.
If I get a tattoo like that might actually get me 10,000 subscribers. Jimmy Controversy, my buddy Jimmy Controversy, has like 10,700 subscribers, and he keeps reminding me of that. So if I get a tattoo, I'll have more subscribers maybe than Jimmy Controversy with a tattoo like that. But maybe. We're also, actually, and he probably would hear that right now and love that. But right now, we're also on Sportswire Radio. We're at 24 hours, 7 day a week, 365-day a year internet radio station. So if you have a podcast, you have anything else you want to play out there, live music, all that different stuff out there, you can check us out here. We'll also have more coverage coming up tomorrow with James Taylor, the Nemesis James Taylor, will be here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. We have some other shows coming up here Wednesday. We're here with Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, to go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame alongside Van Hanson and also James Taylor. And you'll stay tuned for more coverage. Okay, so let's talk about DBW for what you're doing in the ring before I get to that. People are like, boy, DBW, what is he going to say? No, DBW in the ring, because, I know where you wrestled last on Thunder Punch, but what I thought was more interesting, Mr. Van Hanson, was you specifically mentioned some tag team called Chaos Conspiracy, a.k.a. Jacob Cassidy and Robert Pearson. Does that ring a bell? Or Ego, you mentioned Ego.
I mentioned Ego. I did not mention Chaos Conspiracy.
Ego, you mentioned them, and you certainly did a number on somebody there, and you might want to talk about that before I show some of the footage, maybe to remind you of what's to come.
I will say, so wrestling with Ego was a different experience, because
I'm sure Omen Black and Soldier GP are basically hearing this, and boy, they are certainly salivating. So,
what's his name? Austin James.
Yes. Good old
that
AJ.
was wrestling him was a different experience, because I have never seen someone that small with that much energy. Chase Wakefield aside, and also like Roland Havoc. Of course, I've been familiar with Roland Havoc for a while. He's kind of a bigger name in the underground scene.
Oh, absolutely. Roland Havoc's a name that a lot of people know for sure. Absolutely.
And I'll say this about Colin Graves. You ever see the movie Office Space?
Yes, I know you're going with this, but go ahead.
You know where I'm going with this? See who I'm going to compare him to?
Mm-hmm.
Just like him. I can't remember. Was his name Lumberg?
I think so.
That would be great. Yeah, okay. And it's funny. I know Colin Graves isn't going to even see this because he doesn't have social media. But
you know what? That's certainly, I think my platform would certainly love you right now for hearing that.
Okay, we got the real boss man, Aaron Jones, and my best friend, Kid Mike, wearing an Ed House shirt for some reason. Mike,
I think he can wear an Ed House shirt, and I think most people would say, yeah, that looks like him.
I think it was to make fun of Ed House, I will say.
Well, he certainly was doing what he needed to do to Ego. And again, I'm sure a lot of people out there are like, boy, I'm waiting for somebody to do that. And but obviously we see here Austin James is definitely getting a number here, and it looks like he's about to go down for the count. And then we see Mr. Graves himself,
Mr. Lumberg from Office Space,
Mr. I don't have social media. What do they say about people who don't have social media these days? Well, I'm not going to say it on the air, but you can kind of read between the lines there.
I don't know, but what he's saying to him is, if you could go back to the printer, that'd be great. Yeah.
Well, he's getting a number here. And then, by the way,
there's more. Here's B to the H to save the day.
Right before this. I mean, how about this? A lot of people, they shouldn't have been surprised, but there you have it. I mean, by any means,
I tell the truth. I tell the truth. I told them all. Murder City was coming to DBW. I warned you.
You did. You actually mentioned, you know what? We were here, maybe like 2 months ago, give or take, somewhere around that time. And you actually talked about what could come. You actually mentioned it on this platform. I mean, there we have it. And we see Dennis G with you, and then we see what's about to come. And there is good old Kid Mike about to put on that vest. And we see Dennis, and there you are, and putting on a vest in your own right. And I wouldn't want to mess with you with that thing in your hands. And
that thing's loaded.
Oh, I'm sure it's loaded. I'm sure it's more loaded than some of the things I said yesterday on the show. But obviously, we see you guys getting ready, and I'm going to actually put the volume up here for those that are listening and watching. Let's hear what.
I am the Murder City King, Kid Mike. This is the Murder City Lynch, Van Hanson. And we're here to put every tag team on notice. I understand there's new tag team champions. Chaos Conspiracy, keep them nice and shiny, bitches.
You mentioned them, by the way. I was partially right.
There you have it, Kid Mike calling out the tag team division of DBW. What a force this could be, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, God, not the ref. Oh,
I was actually going to ask you.
No. Hanson, why? You are beloved here by the DBW universe. You just turn your back on everything. Taking out Austin James, Colin Graves, and the ref. Damn it. Why?
You know you want a lot of brownie points in this platform right now. We just want to let you know.
To everybody at DBW, we're here. Welcome to Murder City.
God. Murder City in full effect here in the DBW.
Let's stay with this here.
Let's get out of here. You don't need. He don't need that damn Hub City Championship or whatever the hell belt he was coming from. Chaos Conspiracy, mark your days, because we're the greatest tag team DBW will ever see.
Yeah.
You do realize that on this platform, you probably won a lot of brownie points, and a lot of people are like, boy, I'm so happy he did that. I'm sure, listen, I know, Van, it wasn't the intention, but I'm sure after yesterday, some things said, I am sure there's a lot of Sportswire radio followers like, boy, Van Hanson and Kid Mike, they can be on our team any day of the week.
Or you could be on the hit list.
Well, certainly ego found it up, but you did actually I was partially right. You did talk about Chaos Conspiracy the best. They are the tag team champions, and you did still set their sights on. So I still was partially right. You did, yes, attack ego, but I still also said you addressed them. And, let's talk about the tag team division for a second, because let's kick the bullets for a second. DBW, one of the biggest strengths that DBW has is its tag team division. The tag team division is loaded. You got the Stompers, the Brooklyn Prodigies. I mean, you've obviously got Ego. You got Chaos Conspiracy. You guys, you got a list of some no joke. I mean, you could say whatever you want, think whatever you want. DBW, I have always said, pound for pound, may have the best tag teams anywhere. There are companies that I don't even know if they have one tag team. DBW, you guys could just run a show. I've said this before, could run a show on tag teams, but yet you set your sights pretty high. And how do you feel after everything? And where do you guys go from here then?
First of all, I want to state on the record, I love tag team wrestling. I think it is one of the best forms of wrestling. But also, it's cool to create tag team wrestling, but it's funner to destroy it. And you know who you should ask about destroying tag teams? Casey James. I think he would be a great person to talk to about tag teams. Our goal is simple. We tell the truth.
He's here, by the way. Hello. How you doing?
Hey, Casey James.
How you doing,
how you doing on the sideline? We do we tell the truth. We have our hit list. We say what we're going to do, and we do it. And I don't think any tag team can rightfully say they've done that in DBW. It's always, oh, well, here I am, and I'm going to win the championship belt. Losers.
Yeah, I've had most of them on here with the exception of the Prodigies. I would say, yeah, that's a pretty fair statement. Chaos were here, and they had their things to say. The Stompers were here. Obvious. Yep.
What even is a chaos conspiracy? Honestly.
Well, I got to be honest. If you're being completely, up front, I mean, I asked the question to guys like Big Tex and, Corey Graves about chaos conspiracy and why, what these guys are, and, what's the whole reason and rhyme or reason. I mean, there's no question that's a question. And even like with you, and the commentator goes, well, I thought the fans loved Van Hansen, but we spoke about this here. I got to give myself some credit once again. Oh boy, what a surprise. But I talked about the fact that the fans don't get you to championships. You had your struggles in DBW. We talked about this is well documented. We talked about it the first time you were here.
Yeah, I started at DBW around the same time SSW screwing me. I come over to DBW. They start screwing me. I start fighting back. Companies don't like when I fight back. They're like, oh, no, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't attack this person. You shouldn't hurt that person. It's wrestling.
Absolutely.
It's wrestling. What are you going to say next? That I can't put someone in a headlock? That I can't hit my finisher? You're trying to restrain me. And that's the thing. I got to be one of the most dangerous people DBW has ever seen. And not because of physicality reasons, because I'm smart. Okay.
Well, you bring a different mindset as we're here with Van Hansen. Of course, Van Hansen is one half of the Murder City Hit Squad. You're going to see him coming up here at Enterprise and Amplified Wrestling on June the 29th. You're also going to see him on YouTube and his Metal Talk Mondays. And you're here live. But, my point is that, you bring something that I think that in the company, like, your mindset and your mentality is probably maybe the most unique of anybody there. No question.
And like I said, a lot of people talk. That's all they do. They talk. I'm going to win this belt. I'm going to go beat this person. Everyone who's ever said they're going to beat Mr. Judgment has not done it. Why do you think I haven't said it? Everything that I say, I go and do. I go and prove.
Yeah, and I've had the guys here. Brandon was here. Ace was here. Yeah, no question that since Scorpion the Assassin, you could go down the list of people in DBW that have wrestled Judgment and have said. Big Tex was here. We talked about the moment after the match. Yeah, I mean, but wouldn't partially people say though? But yeah, I'm always going to say I'm going to win. What should people say? I'm going to lose. What do you make of that? What would you say then, realistically?
As the propagandist, I believe that honesty is the best policy.
Oh, I think there's nobody that's abided by that more lately than yours truly. But if guys are going to come on and they're going to obviously talk, what should they say? Should they just maybe not? Is the best policy to say nothing?
I mean, that gets you a long way in the wrestling business to keep your eyes and ears open and your mouth shut. But I will say
I missed that one, but
there's a lot of guys that will stand there and they'll say, I'll beat this piece of trash and I can go beat this piece of shit and I'm going to do this and that. But here's the thing. I want to say over 80% of the people who say that don't go and apply themselves. They don't go out. They don't go put the work in. They don't study. They don't do anything to further improve themselves. As the propagandist,
I actually agree with all this. Actually,
as the propagandist, I speak the truth. I tell the fans not what they want to hear, but what they should hear.
That's my Hall of Fame, actually. But okay, so those people have said, and maybe they've said too much. Fine, but then because of what you guys have intended to do, you feel confident with all the depth that this tag team division has that
Yes.
you will eventually claim gold. Is that a fair statement for me to ask?
I think it's a fair statement. If you look down the list, the many of people that I've taken down in this business, shoot, I almost made SSW go out of business
We talked
7
about that.
years ago. As I crept
You've been
and slithered through
a
like the
tag team
snake.
champion before. I mean, you know how to win in tag team wrestling. You talked about
Yeah,
the
but-
fact before. You know, tag team wrestling. You're a big part of it.
When I was a tag team champion with Wes Schmuckley, that doesn't count because I could have held both belts at the same time. He was really the lackey of the group. I would say the Marty Jannetty. But, if you look back at other tag teams I've been a part of that didn't hold gold, you can see why, because the weaker half being the other person. Now, I'm not going to say that about the Yeah Boys because that never really got started with Anton Nathan. If you're watching this, yeah. So, but if you look back on the list, and then you look at what Kid Mike and I have done separate in the business.
Oh, this man with his resume, what he's done, world
Yes.
championships holding, the destruction this man has held. We've had him here. I would put my money on him anytime he's in the ring. I completely agree with you.
And like I said, I started calling the SSW faithful the toothless faithful because most of them, when they smile, when you come out, only have one tooth to show. I started speaking the truth, and they don't like that. They boo me. They boo over what I say. But you know why they don't like it?
Tell me why.
Because the truth hurts.
Well, I've heard
And
that.
I am there to enforce it. It also hurts. Love hurts. And that's why I respect the hell out of Andrew Lovelace.
I love Andrew Lovelace, our resident DJ on Sportswire Radio. Andrew Lovelace, he's the man, Andrew Lovelace. He's actually wrestling at Summer Bash against Nicholas Crenton. I think the most interesting match of the summer. But yeah, Andrew Lovelace certainly, and he's been a tag team champ. He's had his own issues with that. But yeah, I'm glad you respect Andrew.
You see what I mean? Andrew Lovelace and I are just alike. He just had to get the weaker link, Edward James, out. But, Edward James decided to turn on Andrew Lovelace.
Yeah.
This, I don't understand why.
Chase Wakefield on that, though. For whatever reason.
I mean, if you look at every match that Chase Wakefield in, it kind of falls apart. But I'm not talking about the finish.
Well, people could say a lot of things about that. And, Chase Wakefield was in the ring. That's why I bring that up. But, okay, so you feel at the end of the day, with the depth in this tag team division, that you guys have a plan and we need to stay tuned for that, basically.
Pretty much. Not going to give any spoilers.
Well,
But
don't
like
do
I
it on
said-
this platform because people will certainly be talking if you do at this point.
I say I don't give spoilers, but everything that I say then comes true. So I'm a
Are you the
motherfucking
Riddler rather
sorcerer.
than, Mr. V today? Are you the Riddler instead? Is that what I really should taken out of tonight? So you're the more of the Riddler?
I'm more like a sorcerer. So,
Fair play. I have a lot more comments I want to get to here. First of all, Ox McCoy wants to say, is Van the illegitimate child of Dave Mustaine? Spilling image.
hello, it's me again. But
I think that I'm not arguing with Ox. Let me get to Van Hanson would fit right in with the Saints and Sinners and his group in Iowa for the IMF. And yeah, you actually would kind of fit in with your kind of mindset with the likes of Damian Saint and Justin Parsley, who was Thursday's guest. And that was almost like listening to an episode of Howard Stern, the Whack Pack. We actually had this
Whack Pack
comedy podcast. It was the Circle of which Justin is a part of. And we were talking about things that, let me just say, I thought I would have got canceled for then. So I really was an extra 3 extra days I had. But we had the Circle of Jerks, and they actually ended the show. Justin broke I think was it a chair over Josh Wooten's head, and we were talking about things I couldn't even repeat. So Ox McCoy certainly has good taste. Want to say hello to our buddy Mr. Comatose, because he actually just shared our link on Instagram. Comatose has become one of my new buddies on Instagram. He seems to love what we're doing here, and he says honesty is the best policy. He calls you a man of morale, a man of moral. Happy afternoon, or well, it's evening in New York and Pennsylvania, but I hope you're having a blessed day. And I think this goes back to one of the. I think I was waiting for that, but you want to answer that?
First of all, I will say, I wish. No, that was a lead pipe that I ripped off the stage of SSW to beat them with their own creation.
So
that
you
I
mean
just
to
carry
tell me
everywhere.
that you kept that as a memento going into DBW, and they didn't even notice it?
Nope. I beat people with their own creation. And also, I will say, on the topic of lightsabers, it'd be cool to have one, but I'm more of a Star Trek guy.
Well, that we know from the YouTube. We will plug the YouTube. But if you're actually on TikTok, got to give Van a follow because Van is actually becoming a big TikTok influencer.
Yeah.
He's actually got 2,000 plus followers, very similar to my good buddy, Mr. Big Man Cam out there. Big Man Cam, who was all over the place. He's got like 2,400. You got 2,000. I think if you get 5,000, you become like a paid influencer. So Van is almost halfway there. So let's
living on a prayer.
Well, we're halfway there. Well, almost halfway there. And Sean Jovi's probably halfway there watching this interview. But I think we're a little more than halfway through the interview. But certainly, I'm not going to be buying the new Bon Jovi album, Legendary, because A, I don't think it's legendary. But B, Van Hanson, on the other hand, is legendary. That's his TikTok page. So we'll certainly see more. And also, Darkron loves the tag team game. They're the IMF Tag Team Champions. Okay, let me take this off the screen. Come back. So just in closing on this part of DBW, for I think I get to the part where I think people would like to hear what you have to say on olive branches and such. DBW, at the end of the day, we're going to stay tuned. And yeah, we're going to get to that. I can assure you. Maybe you'll see more of my, maybe my best mugshot yet when it comes to me and a cigarette and the buggy eyes. Maybe that's like me earlier today. Yep, there you go. That's the picture. I should just live with that picture. I'm sure that'll get me more fans. But you would like to eventually, though, have some gold in DBW. And this would be still the best way forward, correct?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
You know, it's crazy.
Yes.
We don't necessarily need the gold. I think we've already said our statement. I think what we've done was one of the most historic moments in DBW, because looking back, how many people could say they knocked Ego down?
No, you know, it's a good point because leave aside yesterday's show, we've had a lot of talk over the past, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, maybe about 9 months, maybe 10 months even. I don't know. Somebody can fact check it when it comes to DBW coverage. And the main thing is, what do you do to stop Ego? You got Havoc, you got Colin Graves, you got Austin.
I mean, if I actually had a real lightsaber, I probably could have got the job done fairly quickly. I mean, we are the Murder City Hit Squad. You know,
you are murderers, so shouldn't you be able to like get the?
I could execute Order 66 on them.
Do you guys get like discount deals on like lightsabers and you know, certainly shiny metal objects because you are the Murder City Hit Squad? Does that that be feasible?
Probably only in Murder City, and I doubt there's a lightsaber store.
Ah, I see. Well, once upon a time, actually, it was in the year 1990. They actually called New York City the Murder City capital of the world, but that was you know, that was for real life. I don't know if I want to necessarily remind people that on the air, especially as somebody from New York City. So we'll see. And obviously, you can follow DBW. Actually, I'm actually going to give DBW a plug right now, and I don't know how they're going to feel about it, but I think they'll probably appreciate it still because you can check out DBW right here on their YouTube channel because they're actually closing in on about 4,000 subscribers. So there you have it. But thank you to our friends over there in DBW and those that support us. I hope you tune in next Monday because Big Tex will be here. I'm sure you'll certainly have a thought or two on that afterwards. And I have actually next month a guy that you probably have seen around the interstate somewhere, and Mr. Corey Graves. Corey Graves will actually be here, who I certainly give him my condolences as an Indianapolis Colts fan. He'll be here on July 6th. So I'm looking forward to that. But I actually have one more good question before I get to some other things. And what color would your lightsaber be?
Purple.
Well, he's
hands down purple. Yeah, I already own a purple lightsaber. I don't know where it is. I own a green, a blue, and a purple from when I was a kid. I don't know where they are. But
well, for whatever reason, when I think of the color purple, I think of the words of Vicky Vale in the Batman movie, where she basically says to the Joker, Jack Napier, about how much she loves purple in a rather different tone of voice that I'm sure we'll have here over the next little while or so. But Mr. Hanson, obviously, you certainly did want to comment on some other things before I say maybe the album talk toward the end of the show, because I still want to promote your album because I have the poster for it.
Well, thank you.
But, I tried, and I will actually be announcing this on the air when the album is released. you can count on me for an album sale. So I look forward to
Hey.
your album. So I'll hold off on Comatose has a good question for you. So I'll come back to that first. But I do want to, in the interest of time, talk about some of your opinions on things you heard last night in general. And I turn it over to you and fire away if you like.
So there was a lot of negativity towards the one gentleman. And like I said, I would just take all that negativity
Sure,
as fuel and motivation to give us a comeback story. There was what was the one guy's name?
Well, there was a lot of people on the show. And by the way, just so you know, that's like an average Sportswire show these days. Since you last came on, like the last 2 months, it's like, I mean, it's like literally like I feel like we have become like a community, a silver wolf, ox and silver. But I give him a pass because we love
the one guy. I think his last name was Steele.
Anthony Steele. Anthony,
right?
The real deal.
Anthony Steele.
Yep.
Anthony, the real deal Steele. That's right. I had actually seen some of his work before, believe it or not. But I will say,
JPW, XCW, TBW, Resurrection. He's a traveler in the vein of Jack Delta, but the difference is Anthony is very open about his opinions, and he's certainly he's a welcome. He's become basically like a tenant of Sportswire Radio. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with a lot that he had to say. And like I said, when wrestling veterans don't care, they usually don't give you the time of day. I've been doing this for I would like to say a fairly long enough time.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while.
And I just noticed like that the one guy, you could tell he really wanted to do it, but you could also tell he wasn't going to put the work in. I'm not trying to sound hateful.
We've had with him, Silver Wolf, but this is the third time we went through this with him. Like the cigarette he was smoking, and
like, that irked me.
Do you think it not irked me? I was like, you got to.
No.
I was
because that said to me like, oh, you would come to training and smoke in my ring.
I know, and I read your comment off that, but it was a matter of like morale. It was like.
Yeah,
and he talks to me. I like him. I wish him happy birthday. We talk. I've known him I've actually known him longer than pretty much most people do. We speak, and I try to give people I think what was lost in last time shows. I think I do give people the benefit of the doubt, and I think I do go out and try to support people. Yeah. But I think with him, I think the main thing is that so many of these guys spend time a day, do not have to, and I think the main thing from that part is that I told him, like, look, you come on here, and if you don't, you're taking away from guys that really want to be here. So listen, no joke. There's a lot of people, I'm going to say it, there's a lot of people that want to come to Sportswire. You can come to any podcast. This is where I'm going to, a couple things to come back to you. A lot of people can go to a lot of podcasts. God bless. I hope everybody gets as many opportunities as they want, right? But you go on a different podcast, and you won't get the experience you get here for a few reasons. Number one, I know the community. I watch you guys in the ring. I can visualize it. I can see it. A lot of these guys just want to interview you because you're a wrestler and to say, yeah, I'm a wrestler. But the truth is they don't really have an investment in you. They don't care for you. So with here, there is a long list of people, not just in Backyard Underground, but independent wrestling like yourself and British wrestling and guys that want to come on here. So when guys like him come on, and they come on, and sure, they get views. No question, he gets a lot of views, but he's getting views not because of who he is. He's getting views because people kind of want to see him as a butt of jokes. And the frustration that I have with him is that he is taking away valuable time from people that really want to be here and share a story. I mean, I'm really in the business of storytelling. I know that people got upset because I said Judgment doesn't want to face Omen Black. And that's my opinion. It doesn't mean that it will never not happen. It really goes back to what transpired here and there. I will say it. I have spoken to Judgment off the air. Judgment's welcome. He wants to come on the platform. No problem. But what I'm going to say is, like, I decry some of the different things that went on. But back to Silver Wolf, we have given him so many chances. Yeah. And if he doesn't get it right this time, I can assure you, if you heard what we did about that guy named Joe, Silver Wolf's going to be next. I promise you. And I don't think he'll do it. I think he gets the message, but that's where he is going, because these guys spend 2 hours talking to him on the phone, and on the air, they spend even more time with him. People don't know that guys like Anthony, People don't know guys like Mackie Boy, Mac 10, or Omen Black, or Shane Davidson, Alan Michaels, Nicholas Crenson, Sean Jovi, all these guys that are trained or had experience in working with him. They don't know what goes behind the scenes and how much time that they've personally invested in speaking to him. They don't know that. And he continually does not seem to listen. And it's him and a crew of other people. They were involved in an event called the Backyard Brawl. I don't know what you know about it. I'm sure everybody's talked about it. What they don't understand, that event really was a stain on the wrestling community. All wrestling matters. And to even have had him here, he should not have been here. But again, I'm in the business of giving. We have the new Promo Wrestling Federation. Yeah. He needs to go to his class. We have class tomorrow, first day of school with James Taylor. If anybody wants to be in the Promo Wrestling Federation, we're going to open up the video game. We're going to put people on the chat, whatever it is. We have a Discord page. Anybody's invited from anywhere. It could be indie, pro, not even a wrestler. You're invited. I want everybody to be involved. I'll give people positions, whatever it is. So, like, we're trying to include people. We're trying to basically give it, like, another platform for Sportswire and people to like connect and be friends. But like this guy, Silver, before I come back to you, he really is on my last nerves because he's taking up time of people that really deserve to have their story. So if he doesn't get it right, I'm going to execute him verbally. So I hope that he's listening because he's a good friend. And I keep trying to tell him, listen to these people and then come back to me every week and tell me what you learned. If he doesn't do that, I'm just saying, get the popcorn ready, and I hope you enjoy.
I will say this, and this is not directed right at him. This is a general over,
Go for it.
Everybody who has, like, it's. I don't want him to think this is a direct attack at him. This is more like,
I got you.
This is more of like a generalized statement. And I hate to be the vet that goes, oh, I've been doing this for so-and-so years, but I'm going to do it. I backyarded for 8 years straight. I've been on the indie scene for almost 8 years. I have been putting my body through hell for the last 16 years. I have broken bones. I have lost relationships. I have seen my brothers and my sisters die. I've missed birthdays. I've done this. I've done that. I have been through so much hell to be able to enjoy the sport that I'm in. If you don't want to be in it, don't waste our fucking time.
Thank you very much, because this is what we have been trying to tell him. I'm not a wrestler. But what do I try to do with this platform? I try to give everybody the opportunity. That's why we have the Hall of Fame. That's why we have the website. That's why we do these things, because I really believe in honoring guys like you and everybody that comes here, because, I believe in the fact that all wrestling matters. I believe that true wrestlers do it for the love of this sport. You have done it, and so many else have done it for those reasons. Nobody's getting rich off this. We're doing it because we love it. And I think that's where he's really hurting the community.
And like I said, like I hate to be saying I've been doing this for so long, because who am I? Who am I really, right?
You're Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. You got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's who you are. You're monetized, so you're okay.
But the fact still stands, like we put everything into this business, man. I've said this to Kid Mike, and I will say this on the air. I have put so much love into this business, but the business does not have to love me back.
Absolutely.
And I have put so much love into this business, so much heart, sweat, blood, tears, that whenever something comes along like this, where someone claims to be a wrestler and they don't know what the hell they're talking about, yeah, it makes me angry. It makes just about anybody angry, right?
I think you should have seen me in prior streams with him. And at the end of the day, we all want to have fun wrestling. Like I said, like I want the comeback story to be awesome with a lot of these guys. I want them to go get properly trained and come back and prove strong. Xavier Thorne, who was on the week prior, who's kind of trained. Not that he's trained, but he is a lightning rod. He's been in TBW, Resurrection, and he has been trained by Copper Dragon, who was the backyard. He does the star ratings stuff on TikTok. You probably heard the name. He's been here, and like he has mentored him, and like he's been another one. But Thorne kind of gets it now. Thorne, he's listening to Anthony. He's listening to Mackie Boy. He's listening to them. But Silver Wolf, it's like, I'm telling you, like he really. A lot of guys he's on their last wits, because it's like he did some things, but like, again, I really do like him personally, but if he doesn't get it this time, you're welcome to pile in on him.
That's another thing I get on a lot of newer guys is like, you take someone who kind of like, how do I describe this?
And congratulations, I just got you a subscriber.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So like there was this one guy who wasn't really trained and he kind of sucked. And that's the thing. I give criticism. I give you the 100% honesty. And if you don't like it, fuck off then, I guess. I don't know. But, people were saying that he was this horrible person. I'm like, look, he's not a bad dude. Like this, I'm not going to name drop the guy. He's not a bad dude. Oh, thank you. This dude's not a bad dude. He just needs training. And then that's whenever I said, there's a great saying in the wrestling business that I've heard plenty of times. I don't know if anyone else has really like spread it, but I've heard it a lot around this area. And that is, my neighbor's a great person, but I wouldn't book him in a wrestling match.
Yeah. I've kind of heard that in a different world I'm in, but pretty much the same thing. Which, yeah, I get it.
And also, like, I'll be honest, it's in the same sense of, I love steak, but I'm not a butcher. I wouldn't claim to be.
I've heard that one, actually. That one I've actually heard. I actually have heard that one because I worked in a supermarket, so I heard that one before.
My best advice is then go get training. Go do it. Like, legit, just go do it. What are you waiting for?
But guys, and that's the thing. There are certain guys that have been here on this Backyard Brawl event, and guys, I think people see Sportswire and they've seen some of these shows, and people think, oh, we're piling on people. They really knew. If people knew the time that Anthony Steele puts into this, people knew the time that Mac 10 puts into this, people knew the time that guys like Nicholas Crenson put into it, people would know the time that Alan Michaels and Shane Davidson, who were trained, people would know if they knew the time that guys like Jimmy Controversy, who speaks and what he does for people really knew what Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis kid who's here all the time, and Joseph Tibbs. I mean, people knew what the people that come on here regularly and what they try to do for advice to people that are on our platform. I think people would really, I think they would take a step back and say, wow, Sportswire isn't what I think it is. And I think that's these guys, and I don't want to sound like a homer because anybody knows me. I am not a homer. I mean, let me tell you something. I will say what's on my mind, like you. And a lot of people, I think that's why people are coming to the platform in droves right now, is that we really, if they really took a step back and looked at what these people are doing unabashedly on their own time, free, hours at a time. James Taylor, of course, another one who's trained, in a sense that comes on, he gives advice to people, and I think people would really say, wow, you know what? I really appreciate what these guys are, but unfortunately they only see the clickbait and they only hear the miscommunications. But what these guys do to try to help other people, I just think people have no idea what these guys do. I'm telling you, I know it first because I talk to these guys all off the air.
Like, it's crazy. I think I told you this. So I started watching. I started watching Grimm's Toy Show in middle school, right? And this was before he did the live action wrestling. This is back when he was just doing toys.
Yep.
And he was doing the videos with Super Pop.
Yep.
And I remember when the first video with Jimmy Controversy dropped. Okay. Yeah. I was like in 7th or 8th grade. Okay. And then later on, for you to tell Jimmy about the show that I was running and him endorsing it was a big honor. That's straight from my heart.
Jimmy, I do talk to him, and I know, Mackie Boy has a good, maybe as good a relationship with him as me, but yes, I do talk to him, and he really like he knows what's going on. And he really even for other people, he asks me things about what's going on Sportswire. Like, he really, Jimmy's one of the guys. I want to say this. I know he'll eventually hear it, and I want to say hello to Andrew Levelson, one of my very, very dear buddies lately, the last 3 or 4 months. Just another guy I root for with a passion. Also, my favorite DJ around. But Jimmy really does want to help people. He talks to me all the time about what he sees. He gives it. It's really what we try to bring to the platform. Gabe Sayers. Gabe had an open heart surgery. He was on this platform 8 months ago, and he was didn't know when he was going to return to the ring. Just wrestles Grimm. I mean, that's what we do. We try to connect people. Like, Jimmy's the biggest example. I interviewed Jimmy first 5 or 6 months ago, and he thought I was the greatest interviewer in history. And he comes on, he talks to me off the air, and we talk about things. And he asks for help on things. I try my best to do what I can. I don't do enough, I know, for him, but that's what we try to do here. I think people, I think there's a misinterpretation because guys here, well, he said this about Judgment. He said this about XCW. What they're failing to realize is that what Sportswire is about is connecting people where we want to break down barriers. I'll give you a quick example. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, TBW, like DBW. TBW works with Sportswire. They work with other companies, really, in a lot of reasons. We brought them together with a lot of people. TBW works with Resurrection. That was a relationship that we had they had a relationship with them, and we came on with them at TBW. But TBW is connected with a lot of people. You see people that doors have been opened. That's what we're trying to bring to the table. We've seen, WC, IMF. That's all Sportswire. That's all James Taylor. Anthony Steele. He's connecting with so many people that had this interpretation of him. We have NEW Underground Wrestling. Jake Matthews, D'Angelo. I'm going to say D'Angelo the Flame, who is like the backyard version of the new Jack Delta. He has been connected to doors that this young man would never have gotten because of Sportswire Radio. We have a belt. All wrestling matters because of Sportswire Radio. It is not a knock on when we talk about things, especially, I want to just address DBW for a second, because I think there's a big misinterpretation that I'm sure those in the DBW locker room felt that they were upset, but they should really reimagine what was said. Nobody said DBW sucks. I clearly said I love DBW, and I clearly said that Mr. Judgment is an outstanding wrestler. What I decried is that from what I'd like to see DBW incorporated with companies like IMF, with TBW, with Resurrection Wrestling, with NEW, with DKW, with ROEW. Our young man CJ Black started his company, restarted it, and was reaching out to people. And he happens to have Jack Delta and James Taylor, the two people that for people don't realize, and TBW didn't really get along because they wrestled each other last year, but they're working together in a locker room. This is what we're doing. AWL in Alabama, D'Angelo the Flame, Resurrection Wrestling, Jimmy Controversy, Cato. This is what we're trying to bring to the table. My thoughts on DBW was not a critique. I know that the DBW guys love being here, but what I decried, and again, you don't have to say a single thing on this. I'll handle this. I'll take all the heat for you in this one. DBW, I just would like to see them work with TBW. I'd like to see them work with. I'd like to see Mr. Judgment wrestle Jack Delta. I'd like to see Mr. Judgment wrestle Andrew Lovelace. I'd like to see Mr. Judgment wrestle Omen Black or Soldier GP or whoever it is. I'm not a booker. I'm not a promoter. I don't get in the business of wins and losses, but I think it was unfair that people interpreted that in a way that they interpreted that. But I think really what that has done, in my opinion, has had maybe DBW, some of them reimagine that, yeah, you know what? We can play ball. And that's all it was. We've broke down doors. And that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to connect people. Yeah, I'm sure it's done. It was done with the Global Backyard Wrestling Network, which was famously started, and a large part of it was done with Rad Dad Bradley Belma, who, by the way, is also in GTS. He is feuding with Grim right now. He's on my platform, and he endorsed All Wrestling Matters. Rad Dad endorsed my platform. He endorsed me. He endorsed what we're doing. And he is one of the biggest supporters of the movement. He's one of the godfathers of it. He told Sean Jovi, Tom is a good man. Go work with him. Support him. And that's what we're trying to bring together. I believe in, if you're in, you're in. And I'll give you the shirt off my back. I will cut my arms off with you. Anybody can do what they want. Any company can do what they want. I'd like is to bring people together. And I think that that's the mission. There was no knock on the company itself. There was no knock on the talent. I think that if talent felt that way, and I'm sure that it was, I'm not a dummy, that's completely fine. But I think if they took a step back and said, you know what did he say wrong? He said DBW, he loves it. DBW's got great people. He would just like to see DBW work with those people. That's up to those companies, no question. But what I'm trying to do is bring people together. Right now in society, what is the big topics? Equality and inclusion, right? I'm doing that in the wrestling community. Equality and inclusion. That's all. That's all.
Oh, I agree.
Well, appreciate that. You can follow here on Instagram and YouTube, Mr. Van Hanson, and love what Sportswire Radio does for our sport and everyone. That's what it's all about. I want to network, and I'm 40 years old and still ask for advice and help on my craft. I have watched the Santos brothers, but I need some hands-on training. Well, I'm going to connect. I'm
You
gonna
never
connect with
stop
my
learning.
Listen, I was told from a long time ago, you learn until the day you die. And
Yep.
thank you, Mr. Ox McCoy. Oxboy, if I need a friend in hand, I got to go to Ox McCoy. But you know what, Van Hansen, I want to save obviously some of the best for last and some of the most funnest for last because you have a new album coming out. And I'm actually going to put the poster up here. And I'm curious, what don't you do? And let's talk about the album for a second. And what was some of the inspirations for it as I put the photo up here right now?
Okay. I'll wait till the
You
picture.
put I did 2 seconds. Unfortunately, technology is a little slow right now, but there you go. Okay, now you see the album. You got the poster right here. There you go. How about that? We got so
The
let's
Winds of
talk about the
Time.
album here. Now that you go for it.
So
What do you got?
I make music all the time, right? It's a fun thing I like to do with my friends, and like I always make big collections of songs and then don't do anything with them. And
Why
that's
is
one
that?
thing. I don't know. Like it's weird. Like my one friend was like, "Dude, you have over like 1,000 songs that no one's ever heard," and I'm like,
Are you
"You're right."
the Jimi
you know,
Hendrix of like 2024? Jimi Hendrix still has music out there they haven't released.
yeah,
What am I?
right. Well, so I sat down and I really wanted to make an album, and I didn't know what style I wanted to do it in. And like I had made albums and put them on SoundCloud, but this will be distributed on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Pandora, YouTube Music, stuff like that. I will say, like, I was in a little bit of a creative slum where like I was just writing the same stuff, or like I wasn't really inspired. And my biggest inspiration right now for that album, for like the artwork and the name and everything, was Dark Throne. So I had been listening to a bunch of like Black Doom, like Worm,
I know
Dark
Worm.
Throne. I got a Worm poster right there. And let me get to the good stuff. Dark Throne's Astral Fortress. I had been,
Wow, you got the vinyl version, and vinyl has made a huge comeback these days.
but like I listened to this album, Eternal Hails, and that's kind of like where the artwork idea came from. And listening to this album, it physically made me feel cold.
Why?
It's something about it made me feel cold, right? And I was like, I want to create an album where I sit down and kind of like create some new styles that I haven't released and haven't showed people before. Yeah, I'm going to do death metal and black metal, but also like I sat down, like the name of the album and the first song, it's like 9 minutes, but I sat down and I put the sound of wind into my music editing software.
Okay.
And I like sound of wind just, and I just created this like like melody to it.
Okay.
And other ideas for songs like In the Garden of the Cherry Man was I don't know, honestly. It's a whole different style. Like it's something I've really never mixed before.
Yeah, somebody Darkline asked, "What's your sound? What's your sound?"
My sound, more, I want to say like Blackened Death, honestly. But that's the thing. I like too many different styles that I can't stick to one.
Yeah, you're all over the place. I mean, I've seen you talk about like classic metal, if you want to call it. I've seen you talk about black metal. I've seen you talk death metal, but I've seen you talk about like country and like hip hop. You literally are
exactly.
all over the place.
And so like the inspirations for this album were like Dissection, Storm of the Light's Bane, Dark Throne's Eternal Hails, Transylvanian Hunger.
Any early Shall Perish?
Early All, I've never listened to All Shall Perish. But that's something that I'll have to definitely listen to. I will say Kid Mike has not heard a single song from this album yet. I've not showed him.
Why is that? You want to save it to the public to wait?
Yeah. I will say, like, it was fun, like messing with like the wind and playing with that, but also like I really wanted to create like a different experience. And so a few songs are different genres, but try to keep in the same type of realm. So like one of the songs on there is called Pennsylvanian Hunger.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't know if I can make the. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, I think I might. No, yeah, I think I can. Let me see. Yep, I can do it right here. Actually, give me 1 second. I should be able to right here. Yep, I think I should be able to. Oh, nope, nope. There we go. Yep. Can you see it here now for the audience? I should be a little bit bigger now.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit. It's unfortunately I see it bigger. Let me see now if you see it any bigger. You might be able. No, too big. Let's see now. I might be able to just squeeze it in. Do you see anything now? A little bit bigger. Winds of Time is the first track on the song.
Yes.
Dance in the Fire is number 2. In the Garden of the Cherry Man is number 3.
Critical Failure, which is out. That has been out. Critical
Okay.
Failure. I don't know if I sent it to you or not.
I'll purchase it. Don't worry about it. I got you.
No,
That's okay. I got you. I always say I'll buy something from somebody, so consider
it was
more off the air. But go ahead.
the song Critical Failure. It's more of like a thrash song, honestly, and it sucks because I couldn't get the vocal range I wanted for it because I have neighbors right next door, so I couldn't like scream my head off. I had to wait till they left to do other songs. But
I know that feeling.
Dance in the Fire is actually a song that's 2 years old, and what I did with that is I remember I made it as a demo for a band I was in at the time. I made 2 demos for them called Dance in the Fire and Silver Arches. And Silver Arches, the inspiration for that is like Candlemass and Black Sabbath.
Okay.
So, and I really, really love playing that one. So, with Dance in the Fire, give me 1 second.
Well, you might be getting something live here on Sportswire, and Andrew Loveless would like to say that's the beauty of being an artist. You can pull inspiration for all genres of music and make it you.
So I'm not gonna play much, but for Dance in the Fire,
Andrew DJ'd on Sportswire Wednesday, so you could never top that.
For Dance in the Fire, I kind of took different chord elements and created my own spider chord. So more like Dave Mustaine kind of worship.
Was it in vein of an F major or G minor? I think
this is a bro.
That's all right. Well, we'll obviously see it live on the screen here. You're gonna maybe take this off the screen and make it a little bit bigger. But there you go.
What I did was I took some like surf style and inspiration and kind of mixed it with some black metal thrash type elements. It's weird. I studied theory, and here I am not being able to name a chord.
Don't feel bad. I took music in college, and I never did anything with it. I took music. I took strings. I took I took? I took vocals, and I took keyboards. I took all that stuff.
But yeah, it's a very sludgy, disgusting type of chord, but in the song it works.
So I look like I think people will want to buy the album then, of that, hopefully.
That's like the main back to it.
And what guitar are you playing for the audience? What's your guitar model? Are you playing what kind of guitar?
This one is an Alvarez Black Electric Acoustic, and it's missing the IE string because I broke it off recently.
Boy, certainly. Thank you for the paraphernalia there. And also, Ox McCoy would like to say, have you heard of Kamemis? Or High Priest? High Priest, he also would like to say. Have you heard of High Priest? And if you're here, Ox McCoy, make sure you if you're here and you haven't yet, make sure you hit a sub for Mr. Van Hanson right there, because he may claim he makes dumb videos and say cringy things, but he's actually got a new album that's coming out that's going to be not dumb and not cringy, and you should go out and download it, because we're about all music matters in sports. Now all music matters.
I had to put some background music to that.
I did hear a little bit of that. A little bit of the fast-paced acoustic riffs there, and that's hopefully the album will. Let me ask you though a question on the album. You play multiple instruments on it. Do you plan to ever play any live gigs for like a bar somewhere?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes. So I had been in talks with a few people of getting some backup instrumentalists.
Okay.
And one of my friends is going to be in it, and he's interested in doing one of the gigs.
Did I see one of his with him on Facebook? Remember you shared a post to somebody you were playing with, I think, on Facebook a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
See, I follow everything. See, I keep up to date.
A fun fact: I used to be in a band called Busting Melons with Kid Mike, and he was the drummer with no drummer experience, but he was actually pretty good.
He does look like a drummer, I would say, either a drummer or a bassist. I would think Kid Mike would be.
But I'm gonna try to do most the catalog from the album. But like when I was talking to my friend, he was like, "Hey, can we also do my songs too?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. We should just go and play whatever."
So it does sound like Sammy Hagar after all, because that's what they do on Sammy Hagar's shows. They play the Van Halen catalog, and you're going to play Van Hanson's catalog, and your friend's going to play some of his catalog. It sounds like Van Hagar after all, but a lot more heavier, I would hope. I would certainly hope a lot more heavier than Van Hagar. Let's hope he's not play When It's Love on there or what.
No, but actually, give me a second.
And also, when is the release date of the album? Andrew would like to know. When is the album being released?
So the funny thing is, with the distributors, I have no idea. What I'm going to do is, I've worked with this before, where I send them the songs and they just upload it whenever. So they didn't really give me.
Out. You can buy the single. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube Music, iTunes.
There will be more. There will be more singles released for the album. But Critical Failure, I guess, is honestly not my personal favorite from the album. I think my personal favorite has to either be the song Silver Arches or, The Winds of Time. If I could pull up a preview, you know what?
Well, it's up to you. And if you want to do that before we move on, I will say that you can cook minute rice in 59 seconds. I didn't realize you can do that.
That's true. That's what my theme song says.
Well, I guess for us, right? That's the old trick tonight.
Where is...
And Ukraine Babes Are the Best was our biggest hit.
Yeah, so... Okay, funny story about that.
Go for it.
So we wrote this song. Well, okay, so we were doing band practice, and I wrote this song called Ukraine Babes Are the Best. And this is right before the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. So
I was going to say, this had to have been before it, obviously.
And so I get to practice. We get the drum stuff set up. I'm telling Mike about this song, and I'm like, but it doesn't have an intro. I just have the chorus and like some of the verses. So Mike goes, I'll do the intro, don't worry. So they're practicing it. And he goes, this is what he did as the intro. He goes, do you remember when Brock Lesnar hit a shooting star press on Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19? I remember because, and then I just jumped in with that, Ukraine babes are the best.
And he said it was a month before. So this had to have been like,
it was like
October 21, something like
and
that.
And then because of that whole thing, we had to scrap that song.
Yeah.
That was a really fun song to play because I would do the main vocals and he would do the backing. I'm trying to find your email address.
ThomasBryce15@yahoo.com. That's very simple. So if you email it to me, I'll put it on the screen. Yes, for the world out there, my email address is ThomasBryce15@yahoo.com. Listen, I'm unabashed on that. So I'm ThomasBryce15@yahoo.com. You want to email me, give me your hate mail. The funny thing, when I introduced, what do you think of the video, by the way, that I did with the shirt? Because I've been kind of using the running joke because I have so many wrestling shirts at this point. I could literally just live in wrestling shirts. I'm always saying as a joke, although it might have been pretty close today, that every time I open up one of these, it's like either a cease and desist letter or a grenade. Kind of the joke was I had, I think it was Aaron Blaze Saturday. I opened his shirt up and I was like, well, I'm getting a grenade from Austin G because Austin G lost the ESW Shockwave Championship. It's always funny that I do those things. I was wondering. So give me your hate mail. Give me your anthrax or to quote Metallica, cyanide. Give me your cyanide in your mail and your envelopes when you send it to me. But do I have it now, or I should check? Do I have it? No.
I just sent one of the songs. If you want to check it out,
yeah, I can play it. I just got to find it. Yeah, I'm gonna actually open up to see where I got it. If it's in my spam or in my box or email. Let me see.
This is one of the Blackened Death songs from the album. This is one that I'm pretty confident about, but it's going to sound like a lot of noise.
That's all we do is noise on Sportswire. Sportswire. I just have to find the email.
One of the inspirations for this song was actually Sammy Nothing. So,
Sammy Nothing of all people. Now
because I've
did you
talked to
spell
Sammy
my name
Nothing.
correctly? It's BRICE 15 at yahoo.com. Thomas
I got it.
THOMAS. Yeah. Once you do that,
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen.
So I was talking to Sammy about what type of music he likes. We like a lot of the same like ambient, like black metal, like noise, crust punk
I'm
stuff.
friends with Sammy.
And that really kind of like I've always, wanted to make a song like that, but it just sounds like noise to most people. And he's like, just do it. I'm like,
Let
okay.
me see now. Got it. Let me see.
So this is more like a Black and Death song, I will say.
Still don't have it. I don't have it.
Oh,
there we go. Now I got it. Thank you. In fact, I got a couple things. Thank you very much. I now have it. So just give me 2 seconds. I have to put it in inbox. And I want to thank you, Kid Mike. I'm going to put something else on the screen. So let me do the music first. So give me 1 second for the audience. I'm going to take this. I'm going to keep you in the vertical screen, but I'm going to put the music up here shortly. So let's see if I can put this up, which I should be able to. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if we can play it now on the screen. Okay, so
I hope people like death metal.
well, I mean, you're in the right crowd because I usually are into heavy metal. So let me see now if I can put it up on the screen. Let's see now. Let me see. Let's see. I actually think, can you see it on my? I think you can.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Should be able to get it. I have the screen now in front of me. So good news is I should have the single right now. Hold up. I don't know what. There we go. Now it's popping up. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. We're going to play the world premiere of the brand new song from Van Hanson. It's called Lament Configuration. You're hearing it here first live on Sportswire Radio, where now all music matters. Oh, I don't know why. Oh, is it playing? I don't know why it's not playing. Okay. Shoot. Okay, I got it. Hold on. That's
The box.
There we go.
You opened it. I came.
So what'd you think? First of all, what'd you think of my headbanging skills?
Awesome. I tried to join you, but I have these headphones on.
Yeah, you didn't have that ability. I don't.
You
have
definitely a seasoned metalhead, man.
I have. I've told the story. I did actually write to the band Anthrax in school, and they did give me flyers to was for We've Come For You All, the last one with John Bush. But I am a heavy metaler at heart, and you definitely got to see some of that. And I'm sure people will like. So that's what we're gonna get. I mean, I'm into it. I tell you what, that's gonna be something right up my alley. So if you haven't yet got a chance, you can go out there on Van Hanson's YouTube page. In fact, I'm going to give you the plug because we got a lot of people that are still tuned in. I want to make sure that they go hit that sub button. So whoever you might be, Skippy the Evil Clown, my good buddy, Mr. James Taylor, the Nemesis James Taylor, of course, my chairman emeritus in the Promo Wrestling Federation, there is the YouTube page. Go hit the sub button and go find out more on this man. And he's actually the most interesting man that comes on Sportswire because he does everything. He plays music. He's got an album out. He wrestles. He's got a wrestling ring. Got a wrestling company. I mean, he's also a gamer. He's done a lot of vlogging. He's actually kind of like a James Taylor and how many views he's gotten on YouTube. He's on TikTok. I mean, really, he does it all. And I'm excited about this album. It's going to be the album that certainly maybe shakes up heavy metal. I mean, after all, Kerry King's album came out a couple weeks ago. People are talking about that. Judas Priest's album was out, which I thought was pretty good. I mean, so you'll be right up there with Priest and Kerry King for this year. And we'll have to see what else is to come.
I don't think so. I'm honored that you'd say that.
The Kerry King album was pretty good, I gotta say. I did listen to a few songs. It was on Liquid Metal, so the Kerry King one I definitely liked. Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet. I think it came out around the same time as Deicide's new album.
It came out, so it was released on the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. The 23rd is when the album came out. So it's like 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks ago now. So yeah, that's the album. Let's see. We got a lot of comments here before I try to come back. I think I do have one more thing I'm going to play for the audience. Yeah, Marsh, but for Skippy, by the way, Skippy the Evil Clown, who, by the way, is taking the Promo Wrestling School by the bull, by the horn, because tomorrow, first day of class with myself and James Taylor, but he'll get his assignment. But he's our champion in the Promo Wrestling Federation. He loved the Mosh Pit. James Taylor specifically was like, what did I walk into? Walked into me headbang. You know what? It's kind of fitting. But, it's actually kind of fitting. I was doing some headbanging verbally yesterday, but now I just did it in person. And Skippy's like, I'm not sure. And Darkron said we're in a mosh pit. I have been in a mosh pit before. Damn that guitar. This song makes me want to go smash my TV in my car. Pretty good. I'm shocked the voice is not gone. You must have been doing it for years to scream like that. Yeah. I think that's
That's funny because I did death metal vocals for
another sub for you. Another sub.
Oh, thank you. So I had been doing death metal vocals for different bands and projects and stuff. And when I started, I was absolutely garbage at it and kept just coughing and choking on different. That sounded horrible. Why'd I say that? But no. So I actually have taken professional vocal lessons, not just for death metal, but I took like opera style.
Yeah, I was in college. I actually took a class on it, and I actually learned one song, "Scarborough Fair," which Queensryche famously covered, and it was on the I think it was on the Empire. It was on Empire. They covered Scarborough Fair, but
I will say with like that vocal style and somebody who also does like death metal vocals really helped me with capturing that, so I wasn't just like screaming. I was giving more like a.
Yeah, people think they're just cookie cutter, but actually what they do in terms of actually the training for that, in terms of like stomach and different like exercise, it goes a lot more into that style than people think.
My biggest inspiration was probably Frank from Suffocation or Glenn Benton from Deicide, just because
I know Glenn Benton, obviously everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows Glenn Benton, but like that old school like just like and of course like Frank from Suffocation is one of the OGs, and isn't he from New York also?
Yeah, he is. I mean, there's a lot of people from New York and in the metal scene for sure. But yeah, I believe he's from here. Yep. And actually, Anthrax is Joey Belladonna is from Buffalo, New York, while the rest of the guys are from the city. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely a lot of influence there, no question. And also I got some other influences from Ox McCoy said Opeth. Opeth. Get it, Tom. I think Dark Crown was just happy I was doing something other than talking, which is probably most people would say.
We had a little bit of like a 7-minute headbanging break.
I was into it because I'll be honest, I was into it. I mean, I listen to liquid metal all the time, and I listen to a lot of different things, and damn the guitar. And I think I got one more thing I'm gonna play before closing thoughts. And the growling is a technique. Yeah, there's no question. Anybody that goes out and plays something, I can tell you firsthand as somebody that did play an instrument for quite a while. It is a technique. What these guys go out there and do, there's no question that, that's that. And I think I got one more particular thing I'm going to play, which I'm sure you'll appreciate. So let me pull this up on the screen. I think I should have it now. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I've got it. I think you may or may not say but let me pull it up. Let me take this off the screen. And if you haven't yet, go hit the sub button to Van Hanson. Also, he does want to say you're welcome. Also, vocals can be very tough for sure. And Skippy is, by the way, he's our PWF champion. He's got like 21,000 followers on Instagram. He's got like 100,000 followers on TikTok, and he's like a really big deal. And I'm glad Skippy's on my team because I wouldn't want to be on Skippy's bad side. He really is a clown. He really is a clown. He really is an evil clown. I tell you, he really is a clown. Yeah.
Let me check something. I have to double check something now because I'm pretty sure.
Okay, now it should pull up. Let's see. Let's see. Now do I get it? Okay, now it should pop up. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can get this. Let's take this off and let's go and open this. Let's see if we got this. I'm going to take this off and then I should be able to open this. And now, boom, nope, no.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Skippy's TikTok videos before.
Yeah, Skippy's like a big deal. I mean, Skippy's more of a household name than certainly Sportswire. I mean, Skippy should take over Sportswire and then PWF. But okay, now I think it should pop up. Let me see. Let's see now. Okay, hang on one second. Nope. Let me pull it up. I don't know if it's going to pop up here. I think I lost you. Okay. Nope. Did I? Yep. Nope. Okay, I got to wait for it. Hold on. Oh, I can't move it. Okay, I think I got it now. I think it should pop. Yeah, well, yes, I think that would be much more people. I'm just trying to figure out how I can pull this onto my screen because I'm having a hard time doing it. No, let me see. You know what? I think I might be able to. Let me actually attach this and see if I can go like this and download it. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually give me 2 seconds. And I'm going to be, I should keep that on the screen because I can't see it because I'm trying to actually put the video up. I'm going to move this to my OneDrive on Windows, and that's how I'm going to be able to put this into the screen. There we go. Move to OneDrive. Okay, 2 seconds. Now it should be able to play. Let me now hang on tight. Oh, I still can't move it. Okay, now it should pop up. Okay, let me go to OneDrive, and that should be able to pull up the video. And I promise you it'll be worth it. And then once I get it, it should be here. And no, I don't know why it's not popping up on my OneDrive. Okay, let me try it now. Okay, photos, recent. Oh, shit. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. Okay, that's the magic of technology. I still can't move my screen. Shoot.
Please stand by.
Oh, now I'm thinking. Thank you for that, Mr. Van Hanson. But now I think I should be able to get this video up, which will be far more important. Okay, I got it. You'll see some of my political pictures. Forget those history. Now let's see if we can play this. Okay, let me pull this up. Can we see it now for those that are listening and watching? Can you see it?
Bro, you made this video and didn't tell me?
That was a sick video, by the way. That was actually whoever designed that certainly deserves an Oscar because that
Thanks
was a pretty
for
awesome
not telling
video.
me about that video, Michael.
Oh,
He,
well,
he never showed me that.
I think I got it. I think I got it, Mike. Thanks. I actually figured it out. I am a Houdini in this, but yeah, that was a pretty sick video. I think that's where we can actually see some of the things, and we saw some of the information there, so you can check that out. And
Did you
get in
see
touch.
the Did you see the training vlog I put up?
Yes, I did. I could put that back up on the screen actually.
That
if you
has
like.
some really cool shots.
If
in
you
it
don't have
for,
anywhere
like-
to go, I can definitely put it up right now because I got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Let's put that up.
Nowhere to
right
go
here.
but up.
I'm on my way to the ring right now. We have a lot of tryouts going on today. We are going to tape some stuff for developmental purposes and release it on YouTube under the wrestling channel. It's going to be a fun time. And we're also going to have a cookout.
There's the ace. What an
Yeah.
We were corrected. This is not the ring that Sabu broke his neck in, but he has performed in it. As Mick Foley, Robbie E., it was home to the House of Pain.
Fixing up the last turnbuckle.
So, Elliot, how's your experience here at the Brotherhood of Murder City?
A
little bit stiff in the neck.
You want to come back?
Heavy, dude.
You want to come back?
Oh yeah.
I think it might.
Not really.
Not really.
We got this brand new canvas tarp.
The ring is complete.
We got new turnbuckles for the bottom rope.
Don't worry. We're getting a real canvas. Right now, this is just to protect the ring. Not bad. Don't try to catch yourself.
That was his first bump ever.
Wow,
Mhm.
he looked good. He looked good out there.
He just wanted to try it out, you know.
That was better. That's better
A lot better than Silver Wolf.
Sandbag.
for the part two.
Unfortunately, we had a show on Saturday where the wrestler got injured.
Wait till some guys get here. We're gonna tape some of the
Oh.
tryouts for today.
Wouldn't have liked
This is not like an official show. This is more like a tryout training camp. So if you do watch it, please be mindful not to try any of this at home because we are in a training setting as professionals being supervised.
Now we're in Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
So if you're out there,
You like this where we could see the ring like this from here? That would actually be awesome.
Ready for our first tryout? Van Hanson, got any words about it?
Penis.
well, that we see. I think that's Jackson Saber, a man.
Yep,
right
parents
in the
from
ring
Jeff
with that
What's up, man?
And I see Kid Mike's dad, who I also linked to.
hmm You're also going to see another familiar face in a little bit.
Oh, I think I might know a few of them. I've seen the video already, actually.
Hey, Michael, when we rolling?
3 minutes? You guys want to start in 3 minutes?
They're starting, right?
Oh, Robert Pearson. Yeah, that's one guy I know.
hmm
I saw that already. Oh, him. Wait. Him. Wow. Right, that's W.
Yep.
Oh, I think I know a lot of people.
Good. Yeah. Doing a quick sound check. Let's go ahead and get in the ring. Always wipe your feet.
I've heard this before. I don't know where.
Try some music. Should be good.
Bruh.
Back from the tryouts, they went pretty well. As you can see, I got a little burned up. And chopped up.
Woo. And that's his YouTube page if you want to find out more. And yeah, I mean, that was boy, you guys are what a beautiful piece of property that was on, by the way. As a
Yes.
guy like me who's in New York City, you know, we don't know. I couldn't imagine what's that like, you know. That's amazing. People have a backyard in New York City. It's like, oh my God, you guys had like a whole neighborhood on that property.
Yeah, it's a big property. That's it was definitely a score for where to put the ring.
Wow.
And also like getting it set up for like when we do developmental shows, which we will put like warnings and stuff on, not to confuse people. Like, you know, these are the trainees doing their stuff, you know. So it's definitely, it's a fun environment. Big open space, and usually like training sessions, you can get like 10, 20 people going, and it's really fun. What was I going to say? There's a lot of times where I'm not there just because of my schedule, I'll say.
Sure.
But definitely come check us out. You'll have a lot of fun.
I think so, and I think that you're learning from some of the best and some of the brightest minds, and that's his YouTube page. If you want to get in touch with him, he's also got some TikTok and some other links on Facebook. If you want to message him directly there, I'll certainly connect people if you want to get in touch with him. And I got a lot of comments. I want to say hello to my buddy Big Tex. Big Tex is in the house next Monday. Big Tex and I were having a great conversation as I continue to tell Big Tex he's always on my team any day of the week, and also on my team, Mr. Andrew Lovelace, and looking forward to getting down to training in a day with Hanson and Kid Mike. And Andrew Lovelace is hobnobbing with Kurt Angle, Brutus Beefcake. He's hobnobbing with Flair, Matt Riddle. I'm like, he wants to be on Sportswire. He should go. He's friends with those guys.
You know,
and you gotta jump in.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, Andrew Lovelace definitely going out there and making the connections, and it's so great to see.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a go-getter, right? I wish there were. He's just like he just wants to be in the action. I think guys like that, that's what I'm all about. Guys like that say, you know what, I just want to give me a shot, give me an opportunity, put me in, coach. And he's just the man, you know. I love people like that. From everything I've seen, BOMC has their stuff ready to help in the future. I agree with you. And Darkron will make the trip. I'll connect you guys. If not, Skippy says that the bump reminds me of a belly splash in a pool. It hurts the first time. After a while, you get used to it. It reminds me in a way when you actually, if you played guitar and you got the callus is broken onto your hands, and then after that, it's like, again, totally different things, but it's like almost the same things. One day, I hope to go back at a backyard wrestling ring. It'll be fun. Great job, Van. Your band is definitely on my team any day of the week, and that's why you should join his team and really not join mine. But I'm loving that ring and the location. Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know what? A guy like me, you know, I'm from New York City, right? So like, I look at something like that. You only dream about things like that. You know, I've never been on a piece of property like that. You know, you have somebody has a backyard. It's like, oh my God, you had like what a beautiful piece of land. You know, they call that God's country where you guys are in. You're in God's country pretty much, you know. So just awesome work. Kid Mike and Van Hanson. These guys are doing, you know, God's work. No, I'll let you keep that job, Tom. You're really good on Sportswire Radio, to be honest. But remember, if you mess up in character and promo wrestling, I will say this on PWF. I don't know what my abilities are in that, but I'm gonna talk about more of that on Tuesday. Consider me more of the guy, like, on the outside, letting the professionals run it. And I know about the spider cord thing you were talking about with Megadeth. My brother actually does that because of Dave Mustaine, because he
Mhm.
plays Dave Mustaine, and the spider quartering, no question
Yeah.
about that. All inspired by Diamond Head. Actually, that was all actually big
Yeah.
Diamond Head influences. A lot of people forget about Diamond Head. Kind of lost
Yeah.
shuffle, but that was a great.
Yeah, no, but I want to go back to something Tech said real quick.
Tell me, there's a bunch. This one right here,
Yes.
or this one right here. These guys are great to pick their minds. You tell me.
Oh, either one.
We'll go with this.
I'll just say, like, I've talked to Big Tex about training, and
Mhm.
he's going to be down there whenever he can. And I think that's awesome. I had Tex on my show before, and it's funny because I've actually talked
Yeah,
to
I remember that.
Johnny.
He was in the, yes, I remember that. Yes, in February. Yes.
He was in the Rumble. He had just gotten in the ring, and Johnny threw him right out. Now, it's funny because I talked to Johnny about that. He was like, I didn't know he just got in. I thought he'd been in for a while. And he was like,
I didn't want to say it on the air, but yes, I remember Tex and I spoke about this actually.
Yeah.
He has actually, I want to give it up. He's always talking to me. Big Tex. I mean,
Yeah.
he's my favorites, Big Tex. He knows that.
Big Tex is great. I definitely want to see him come down to training sometime. I can't wait to see him at DBW again.
He's got a big match coming up very soon. He's got a big match that could change his trajectory.
And
sure.
Big Tex, I'll say this, it was kind of a behind the scenes thing, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Is every piece of criticism I've seen Tex take, he works on. And I love that. Like, I'd be like, hey, someone will go by, hey, I like this, but try it like this. And then he'll actually do it. And a lot of guys don't do that. And I give Tex respect for that.
Yeah, you know what? He always, I hear, listen, I'll say it. I want to say hello to, obviously, the man who does your Mental Talk Mondays introduction. The second. He's here. He's actually going to be back. I think we spoke about it, but it's way in advance. But one of the things I want to give him a shout out for is that he messages me and he says, I heard what Titan said. He goes, he was here when we had Ledger Shade on here, which was one of the greatest moments we've ever had in wrestling coverage. He talked about, I heard you had Ledger Shade. He'll talk about Jack Delta, and he's always like asking me about these things. So I want to say Tex is definitely, I'm in Big Tex country anytime with him. And where Dark Crime lives, it's literally, he lives like next to a cattle farm. Literally like, it's literally like, if you look on Google Maps, his address for Summer Bash, which I'll put up in a minute or two, it actually, where he lives, looks like a cattle farm. It's like really like next to it. So that's the case in a 75-foot water slide.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm going to put the photo up in a second for him. There is Mr. DVG himself.
Justin Victor Glow.
Anything you want to say to him? He had, anything you want to tell him, or anything to say to him?
DVG, it's been a while since I've seen you at a show. I hope to see you again soon. I always love working with you. I always love working with you on behind the scenes stuff, whether it not be wrestling, in the business. The big favor you did announcing and wrestling for a Fight for a Cure, I'll never forget that. DVG is has become one of my favorite people to watch in the independent scene, just because I've seen how much he's improved and how fun it is to interact with him at shows. He's always super cool to be around. So DVG has become like one of my favorites to be around.
Yeah, he's a good dude. DVG's,
I can say that about a few guys.
No, he's one of the guys.
I will say that. I can only say that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said go ahead. Floor is yours.
Oh, well, yeah. He's one of those guys that, like, I could probably say, like, okay, there's a lot of people I love in the business. There's some people I don't like so much, but that's decided off the air.
On that, I've pretty much said my piece. Stay tuned tomorrow, because you could probably get more of that with James Taylor. Just stay tuned on that. Good news is won't involve you at DBW. So that's all I'll say right now.
But I'll say DVG has definitely become one of my favorite people in wrestling. Like, I absolutely love working with him any chance I get.
Oh, for sure. Listen, I speak to him. He's evolving. he's another guy. Like, it came on here and like you see what he's done. Even in like I think
Yeah.
I first had him on in December, and this guy is like he's a pro. He's a pro's pro, man. He's a pro's pro.
I will say the first time I met DVG was at IWL.
Okay,
And he was managing Werewolf Creed, actually.
Okay, I know that.
And Creed and I have been friends for I don't know, like 7-8 years. So, but it's always kind of like a silent friendship. You know what I mean? Kind of like where, like, we acknowledge that we work together, that we tag together, but like we're not best buddies outside of wrestling. But I remember he was managing Creed that night, and I was just like talking to him a little bit, and I didn't realize he was that voice guy. And I'd seen his videos before. I thought that was funny. I'd seen some of them before, and then of course, like we've played video games together and stuff like that outside. And he's actually the one who sold me this microphone.
Oh wow!
So I always love seeing him evolve, and like I said, I've heard him say this about me, but I think it's the other way around. Everything that man touches, it turns to gold.
Yeah, he's just like, oh my goodness, everything he's done with the voiceover work, with the streaming, with when he did the karaoke, and obviously now wrestling, ring announcing. This guy is really like another one of these guys that you really want to root for. That's what I'm about, rooting for people, and he's on my team any day of the week. And Skippy, you're welcome anytime. Well, Skippy can attend to Summer Bash, and I think Van will decide what he wants to do. But you can look at the show itself. That's the poster. July.
What day is it?
July 5th. It's 3 days. July 5th, 6th, and 7th. So those are the 3 dates. And
it's a possibility. I just have to see what's going on. But if I can't go in person, I'll definitely watch on streaming.
Well, there'll definitely be those. There'll be a lot of coverage for it. And thank you for the experience. That's what we're all about here. But obviously, we'll keep this. I'm going to take this off the screen, and I want to ask you a couple quick things here before closing thoughts. So give me your final words for Lydia Myers.
No,
what's to come. I had to do it. I got to.
No, bro.
I think
I was in such a good mood.
I know, but I got to do it. I got to say, what do you want me to do? I got to give it to you. I got to give you the floor.
Okay. The next time I step in the ring with that witch, I'll be leaving with her head on a stake.
Certainly, hopefully, I guess for your sake, it'll be well done. We'll have to find out on that. No, you don't like it well done.
Rare.
I'm a well done person. I got to be honest. See, my story is when I was a kid. We were growing up. When I was growing up in Brooklyn, one time, my mother made, I think it was like a hamburger, whatever it was, and it was like rare, and it was like, oh my God, I like got really sick. And since that moment. Man. It's like, I'm well done. That's it. Well done. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's not well done, don't want it. So, that's just how it goes. But there are some people like it medium rare. Some people like it rare, whatever it might be. But that's how I'm about. But again, that's why I'm weird. And I'm sure everybody else is, boy, he's really weird after that. But
no, it makes sense.
It's what it is. But what do you want to say to anybody that would maybe want to buy the album or maybe sub to the YouTube channel?
It really means a lot. I get weird because like I make a lot of content, but I don't like push it towards people. I'm kind of just like, hey, if you just stumble upon it, it's cool.
You probably gained some new subscribers, so hopefully you're happy with pushing it. You better get more pushes.
Thank you so much. If you listen to the album, it will be available on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora. I'm really debating putting it on Apple Music because I don't like charging people for music. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a live show.
I think you should try. You're a musician. Musicians don't make money off music, so you should try to make whatever. If you put, I tell you, if you put on Apple Music, I'll buy it for you. How about that?
I might put it on Apple Music. I might withhold it. I might see if I can get the price lowered. But like, I think, like, I don't really want anyone to pay to listen to my music. I want it to be available to listen to for free.
Make some money. You should make some money.
But then, like, at the same time, if I do a concert, I would charge for that.
Well, a concert, you have to charge because you obviously need to make some money. And, if people are going to see you live, that's how you're going to promote yourself.
But I'm just fine with giving people free content, honestly. That's I mean, I get how I get how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think people as an artist, I think that there's obviously an understanding that, you need to do something to, support yourself and support the cause. And
Yeah.
actually, I got one more thing before we sign off. I'm going to put on the screen to help you maybe make some extra money, because after that's what we do on Sportswire Radio. We actually try to put people out there, a part of All Wrestling Matters. As a matter of fact, if you want some merchandise, ta-da, I couldn't find it the whole evening. I'm blind, clearly. I'm blind. But you want to go to the T Public page for Van Hanson, and you can buy some merchandise like I have. You got a shirt. You got Metal Talk Monday.
Buy a Sportswire shirt.
Well, I don't really advertise the Sportswire shirt because my philosophy is like, I really don't want people to purchase anything unless it's like really they want it, because I'm really more about go and support the wrestlers. I'm fortunate enough that financially we don't need it,
So we're kind of two birds of a feather then.
I would say so. I'm sure, though, if you saw my finances, you'd say, can I get a loan? But that's a different conversation for a different time. But you want to buy some shirts, you can definitely do that. I would recommend it. Check out all the vlogs, Metal Talk Mondays, 20 different things a metal fan doesn't do. But I would say just watch the video and watch everything else. And there's the merchandise. And I'm going to put this up on the screen. And I've talked with you a lot, and a lot of people really liked you. I think people liked you more this time than the other times. I think people were like, I think people are fired up right now, and I think you really gave us. It was a nice change of pace tonight. I've had some shows, I've had some interesting ones yesterday, but other shows. But tonight was a nice change of pace, and I'm glad that people liked it, and I'm glad that you're here with us, and you're welcome anytime on this platform. And I want to pass the baton to you, give you some closing thoughts, my dear friend, and anything else you'd like to plug, share, or say. And the floor may be yours now.
Yes, I'd like to say, get yourself a Sportswire shirt, and support Sportswire.
I love you for that. That was funny. Put that back up on the screen. Put it back up on the screen. No, it's okay. You got my blessing. Put it up on the screen. There you go. There you go. That's what I should be living like. That's what I should be living like. I tell you what. You send me that photo. I'll put it on my Instagram tomorrow. I'll tell you what. I'll put it on Instagram.
Is it still up?
Yeah, I got it. I see it. Yeah, we can see it. I'll even take this off the screen. Yep.
Can you read it how it's written?
Yeah, you know what? I can now. Sportswire radio. That probably is how I said it. Sportswire radio. Do I say it like that? Sportswire radio or maybe
I just lost it.
Sportswire radio.
I don't know what I was doing.
Am I in Beavis and Butthead? I probably could be in Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of our buddies, Justin Parsley, who literally has a Howard Stern Whack Pack show, was like Beavis and Butthead all on Facebook, and yeah, that's me, and maybe you'll see more of me on that, and yeah. Well, that's the case, and anything else you want to say, Mr. Hanson?
Yeah, make sure to subscribe to Sportswire Radio. Oh yeah.
I don't know. You could go give DVG a run for his money.
No, we've actually done this before in like a private chat where we were doing voices at each other, and I haven't practiced a lot. Hold on, I can't look at myself. I haven't practiced a lot of them.
I just think I do this every single day. You're here once every couple months. I'm here every day. You have to remember, find me a place that's every single day I have to look at myself. So just how you think I would feel.
DVG definitely is a better voice impressionist than me. I just do basic stuff. I just say make sure to subscribe to Sportswire Radio and be really cool.
Well,
stuff like that. I just do dumb shit like that.
I would appreciate. Yeah. I would appreciate that, but I will end on a couple of notes. I have a couple of comments before we sign up. This is Van's information. Make sure you follow him and all the great things he's doing out there in the ring, outside the ring, and everything else in between. Skippy, I work with my son, who was actually in the first match in Sportswire Radio history. And yes, Isaiah Rage and Omen Black. Of course, it's his show. Also, Skippy wants to say, that's so cool. To be honest, I would never have met anyone if it wasn't for James Taylor and yours truly. It's so cool to see everyone coming together. I think that, to me, yesterday, what was lost is that that's what yesterday was about. We're bringing people together, and we're going to drag people to support their platform. Yes, well, that you should look. You should live with
Giving
that.
them an olive branch.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're trying to do. Give the olive branches for everybody. That's what it's all about. Connecting people, connecting with the platform. And that's really what I think yesterday resonated with a lot of people at the end of the day. And maybe it was said in different ways, but the facts is that, you're going to see a lot more of this. We have the Promo Wrestling Federation, the Pride Wrestling Federation. You're going to see more things. More things are ahead. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday's show. Also, Darkron says, I'll definitely handle that. I'll give you Van's personal Facebook. We'll certainly connect. I'll take care of that when we're off the air. And definitely Ohio and Pennsylvania, I think, are very similar. Also, great show and loving the voice of Van. Yeah, Van is always, that's why I said he's the most interesting man that comes on Sportswire. No joke. No, you are. I'll be honest. I've had some ones that are interesting, but not interesting in the ways. But you really, you can talk anything. You know music, movies, gaming, you're a promoter, you're a wrestler. That's why I like having you on as a guest. And I think the people, they seem like they had a great time tonight. So I'm having great time. Well, yes, and Mr. Judgment, I like him. He's the final boss. I think the point was, but the final boss, I like to see him wrestle some other opponents that might say they're the final boss. But, that's not a knock. Again, that's more about what people have an opinion. I can't, look, at the end of the day, I have an opinion. It was not a knock. If somebody could tell me, did I knock DBW personally? I'm going to tell you the answer is no. I decried some things, and I'm glad that people tuned into it. And if it was what it wasn't, but DVG, I definitely love DVG. DVG is definitely on my list, on my Mount Rushmore of announcers, and that's why he's in my Hall of Fame. But Mr. Hanson, I don't think I have much of a voice because I'm literally been doing this, and I have not gotten sleep since, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because my phone has literally been blowing up more than the Hiroshimas I've dropped in the Sportswire Radio laws the last month. I am looking forward to June 29th, Enterprise Amplified. I'm looking forward to DBW coverage. I'm sure Big Tex will have a few things to piggyback off what you said. I'm looking forward to seeing more things in this Lydia Meyer situation. I'm looking forward to the new music. I'm looking forward to buying the album. Yes, I will buy the album, and I will certainly look forward to seeing that man. I doubt they'll have the bow tie when he's back on Sportswire, but I am certainly looking forward to the future of you. And thank you for all that you do for this sport, by the way, in purchasing a ring to help guys that need the helping hand. And that's what we're about here, giving people the helping hand. And by you doing that with Mike and his father and everybody else, that shows you that the kind of man you are. And that's somebody on my team any day of the week. That's somebody I'm proud to have in the All Wrestling Matters team in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So keep up the good work. You've seen enough of me, so I'm going to certainly see you soon. I'm sure you'd like to come back. Hopefully you'd like to come back next month or some other time or anytime you'd like. And I'm looking forward to, but I think we always had friends. But and you even asked me, are we still good for the 10th? I'm like, yeah. What do you think we're not going to? It's funny at this point now, people will almost address me as if I don't want to say I'm Graham in GTS, but I'm getting to that where people do you think I could come on still? I'm like, yeah, you told me you wanted the date. I even had one guy who came on last Tuesday. He kept calling me Mr. and Sir. I won't say who it was. I'm like, I ain't that special, bud. But thank you anyway for everybody making this platform special. And Van Hanson, go give him more subs. And he's awesome. Keep kicking ass, my brother. And I will see you very soon out there. All right, that was Mr. Van Hanson. He's working on a brand new album. Stay tuned for more details on that. We heard some of the music. It's going to be to come on his YouTube and Instagram and TikTok channels. He's also going to be the ring coming up for Enterprise and Amplified Wrestling's next show, June 29th in West Virginia, Rocky's Pizza. He's also going to be a part of things coming up in DBW. He's also going to be in the ring eventually in Superstar Wrestling and Lydia Meyer. Stay tuned. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice where figuratively and literally now all wrestling matters. If you're on sportswireradio.org, yes, I hope you see that photo. Maybe that should be the photo photo that I should hopefully go to my grave with. And Mr. Judgment probably would like to see me like that more because he's probably not so happy with some of the things I said. But that's at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of the day, Omen Black and Soldier GP are out there, and I'm sure they have differences of opinions too. But it doesn't really make a difference. Just go tomorrow and tune into us 9:30 p.m. James Taylor, especially if you're coming to class at PWF or just want to tune into what James Taylor has to say. Let's just say good thing is DBW is not a part of this one, but I think I love DBW. I think I pretty much made that clear, but I love all of you for tuning in, maybe a little bit more. And thank you, everybody. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and on the number one global radio station, that is Sportswire Radio. And I'll make sure you two gentlemen connect after this show. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.